I use this because it's the perfect size and the perfect thickness.
No, I literally have...
That's what she said.
Had to get you back at that
A lot happened off camera. Happy holidays and welcome to Room 6, the channel dedicated to the local Las Vegas music scene and the people that make it, including these guys and me. My name is Josh. Before we do anything, welcome to my home, guys. Happy holidays. Clink.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Clink.
Happy holidays.
Careful, clinks. Clinks. I filled them full.
Cheers.
Skull. I forgot to tap.
That's good.
Not too shabby.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too as a shot. That was Evan Williams, 1783. I've got a review of it on the channel. Anyway, now that that's done, we're going to say goodbye to this young lady. Peace out. And I'm going to read a script. Hey. I met my guests at Triple B at the Circa 6 show, which I've reviewed, and they are a melodic thrash metal band that's been melting faces since before the plague. Hey. Since their first year...
I like how that sounds. I'm going to steal that one.
By all means, I haven't seen you since before the plague. Since their first year, they toured with bands like Trans Metal and Soulfly, have shared the stage with multiple Vegas metal luminaries, and recently opened for Judas Priest. Is that right?
Yes, we did.
Jeez. We'll talk more about that. They're currently promoting their latest single, Rain, from their soon-to-be-released album, Asphyxiating Cries, on Do It Records. Links will be in the description. Please welcome to the show a band who, in their own words, might be a little too much. MADZILLA. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Say hi, welcome to the show, and let them know, you know, wait a minute. I'm underdressed. Movie magic. There we go. All right. First off, like I said, welcome to the show, guys. And go ahead and introduce yourself to the people who are watching this video that maybe don't know who you are. Thank you very much for watching. Tell them what you do and who you are.
All right, I'll start. Hi, we are MADZILLA. I'm David. I'm the frontman, singer, and guitar player. We play melodic thrash metal, like he said. Basically in the style of maybe Megadeth, a little heavier, and a little more melodic, definitely. Yeah.
I'm Luis, I play the drums, so I'm the one that keeps the beat, gets these guys going. Yeah.
He wasn't on time today, though. Couldn't resist. Next.
I am Daniel. I play the bass and loud noises.
He does.
You're pretty accurate.
I'm Dane and I play guitar.
And?
Yeah.
Okay.
and brings the joy.
Brings the joy. All right. Now, before we get into more of the interview, I just wanted to say you've also brought me some merch to show off besides Asphyxiating Cries. I love the cover, by the way. And that is very reminiscent of Megadeth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very
Is that 99 Ways to Die, maybe? I don't know. And
a little better, but
they have merch like this. I love this logo. I'll put an actual picture on the screen here. Bink. But who designed the artwork? Was that you?
No, we actually have a graphic designer that we work with.
Right on.
Her name is Brittany Rocci. So go check her out. She's Miss Brit Designs on Instagram. She does a bunch of this really cool, like kind of cute but twisted at the same time designs. So we kind of dig that, and so does she. And if you dig that, go follow her. And yeah.
Honestly, it's so horribly cute. It's so horribly adorable.
you gotta wait till you hear
kinda
the
what
story
we
behind
like.
it.
Oh,
gonna
I'm
get a
sure.
beer right
All
now.
right, cool. Oh, he's going. Oh, beer run. Let's go on a beer run.
I could have brought it for you.
You sure?
What
Thank
is
you.
it?
Aw.
What do you want?
Whatever.
So
then we can
mom
do
is
the
dry.
movie
Any
magic,
kind
and
of
then the
beer
beer
is
shows up in his hand.
no, sorry, I don't have the budget for that. So
Why is he walking around on that thing?
we'll get to that.
Can you edit that part when I
we
walk
have-
like I'm handicapped?
We have something to add.
This is a story.
Sorry, Gimpy.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
there you go. So we don't know that, you know.
No, it's all good.
Our bassist can't move.
Yes. Well, somebody likes to roll around on the floor with other men.
I
It's
do
not
get
wrong.
sweaty.
He hurt himself
gets sweaty.
grappling in jiu-jitsu. I can't fault that, of course. But
Wait,
yeah.
before we move on, we have something to add about this design right
Okay, by all
here.
means.
Fine.
So if you look at it, this is our baby mascot, the baby MADZILLA, and he's eating a finger. To which he has a fun story
Fun
to tell.
story. He's eating my finger.
Oh snap!
actually.
Didn't even notice.
Yeah, so I was in a boating accident where I lost the tips of my finger, but now Mozilla found it, so he's eating my finger. So
That's
the cool
actually
part.
that's amazing. That's
So,
awesome.
There's a story behind the design.
I
That is fantastic.
that is adorable. Yes. Right on.
You know, like,
All right. Well, on to the interview. Moving on to my job. Now, you two are from Ecuador, right?
three.
Yeah.
The three of us.
Three. Sorry,
Three.
you three are from Ecuador, different cities, but
Same city.
We're
okay,
from the same
Quito,
city.
Quito, and
Quito and
Yeah,
Guayaquil.
Guayaquil.
Guayaquil. Did the band start there, but it wasn't Madzilla?
Technically, yes, but no. What happened is that, I mean, I started this as kind of like my own project back in 2016, I believe. It was one of those things that I had been playing with so many bands and whatnot, and then I started feeling that, I needed something mine.
Right.
Not that I had anything wrong go on with any of the bands that I played, but it was just one of those things that you just feel that you're looking for something that feels yours. You know what I mean? And so I started writing songs, and the first song that I wrote for this particular project is called Judgment Day. And I wrote that because I was in a car accident with my best friend. I mean, he was driving, and we were hit by a bus. And the car flipped, and my friend died. And he died in my arms.
Oh,
So it was like one of those life-changing moments. And it started I used to be really, really bad at being responsible.
I know that word for that.
To put it mildly.
Now we just have that.
Somewhere your parents is laughing very hard.
Oh yeah. And that was a wake-up call. I started feeling that I would probably waste my life if I keep going down that road, and that happening just kind of boom, opened my eyes, and so I started working a lot harder on my craft, practicing, for that entire year after that happened, I practiced 8-10 hours a day.
Wow.
And,
It shows.
And,
Cheers to
well,
that.
thanks.
Yeah.
And so, and
Cheers on you.
Choose
And-
8 hours a day.
Right.
8 hours a day.
it's the only way.
What's that like, having 8 hours a day of practice?
When you have most of your bones broken,
Ooh.
and the one thing you can move is this, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But anyway, I wrote the song Judgment Day as a tribute to my friend. His name is Andres Pasato, and may he rest in peace. But I wrote that song talks about the last moments in life, and it was basically what I was feeling holding him, and feeling that, his judgment day has come, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you just gotta live with it.
Right.
So I wrote that song, and then it turned out pretty good. I liked it, and so I decided to move forward with this project, and then I moved, and the things happened, and then I ended up here,
Right.
and with just songs that I had written, and then that's when I started recruiting musicians, and I try and find just people that had kind of the same goals in mind as me, and also the same feeling towards this type of music, and the same drive to let's practice 1,000,000 hours a day and stuff like that. And then I found this crazy guy right here.
Oh, him.
This-
me.
I was going to say, 'cause seeing you on stage, he was the crazy one.
He's not talking about
Yeah. No, I found Daniel on Craigslist.
like everybody else.
He had
Dead on Craigslist. Nice.
which is what's funny because I was not looking to make to find someone from my country. Like I was just
Oh,
looking.
you were here.
I was here. I lived
That's
here.
amazing.
I lived here, and I looked for a bass player. That's all that happened, and I found him on Craigslist, and he didn't even say that he was from Ecuador or anything. It's just like I play bass, I play metal. It's like, okay, I'm gonna call this
What
guy.
else you want?
Yeah.
I play good.
Me good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like
I have car.
Reliable transportation.
Honestly, you know. Like, especially like a drummer with their own transportation.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah. She just pointed at you.
you go.
Well, me,
Sister,
yeah, I met this guy after that, and we went. Yeah, I was like, send me the songs, and like pretty much everything else that I do in music is like I get really into it, I listen to it, and then I realize how to learn it because sometimes it's a little harder than I think.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what happened with this music with this guy, and I was about to call him and tell him, dude, this is like. This is not music. This is a sport.
Contact.
Yeah, this is way too hard, man. I mean, I need to practice to get there. I was about to do that, but the day was about to come, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna show up and do my best. And I'm here. That's what happened.
And honestly, having seen them on stage, like you can see, there's a lot of fun and drive in the band, and especially this guy. My camera kept going back to him because he was having the time of his life at Triple B.
Every time.
Yeah,
Like there's no other day.
but it just seemed like you all were tight from all the practicing, but also you were there with a purpose, and you were there because you wanted to be there. This wasn't just a phoning it in gig or this isn't what I really want to do kind of thing.
You made me think of something really important. When you want to accomplish something in life, and you get there, you want to make sure you enjoy it. And the only way you really enjoy it is like just flowing with the moment, not being worried about if you're going to do it right or wrong. It's just practice makes perfect, and we practice to make the perfect time on stage.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, we're one question in, and I think it's time for a booze break because my hand is empty. So booze break. Got the all-important scotch and merch.
Nice.
Right.
Cheers.
So,
guys.
okay.
All right.
I guess we're back.
Hey, we're happy people.
Two.
I was gonna say we're back. All right. Ooh, that's not bad. I just realized I don't
I
think
really
that's my
dig
scotch.
that mug, dude.
Thank you. You can get it at room6.shop.
There you go. Since you didn't bring a shirt.
Insert promo video here. This just in. You can show your support for Room 6 by going to room6.shop after this video. We have tons of merch, including discounted cold weather merch and more. Whatever you need to show your support for local music and Room 6 is there, from shirts to hoodies to mugs to posters to stickers. Whether showing off that you're a patron on our Patreon page with our 2 Brains 1 Bottle shirt, or reminding people to just be amazing, room6.shop has what you need to be a friend of the channel. Thanks for supporting Room 6. I'm going to. From what I could tell, researching for this interview, it looked like you're established 2018, but you actually started in 2016 because of what you were doing in Ecuador.
Yes.
So,
But
why's the official 2018 is MADZILLA?
Yes.
Okay.
Like it was like 2018 is when the project was like official. And
Okay.
it was more than me just writing songs and being like, okay, I'm like, this is the idea that I have. And
Cool.
then, yeah.
All right, because I had to wrap my head around that a little bit. I'm like, wait, and I was looking at dates and everything, and I'm like, okay, I think I get it. Now, as I was going through your discography, your catalog of music and videos, I noticed a recent vocal and melodic tonal shift and ratcheting up from Last Goodbye to Destiny's Eyes and Asphyxiating Cries to more recent tracks like Raging Madness and Silent Assassin and Rain. Mm-hmm. And I just was wondering, that was on purpose, I assume, from the songwriting perspective?
No, it's actually that I've been taking singing lessons.
Hey! There you go. You new musicians. Yes, it really does make a difference.
Yes, it does. Like big time. Yeah, I
learning.
have this teacher. She does online singing lessons. If anyone is interested.
You want to shout her out?
Yeah, her name is Cecilia Davila. She does. She actually. She's a jazz singer, but her mind is so opened to like everything.
Yeah.
So like she understands the odds and ends of like several different styles, and so like she was able to shape what I'm doing into like do this better. Yeah, and like I mean, yeah. The thing is because she does online lessons, it was perfect for like during the quarantine time. It was like, well, I'm stuck at home playing guitar all day.
Right.
Might as well work on my other craft, and get a little better at it.
Right. No, it was totally noticeable from Final Judgment to the ones I listed.
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah,
I was just like, oh, something changed. What happened? Because at first it's not who you are now singing wise.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
And
Not
also
even close.
the first time I heard you was at Triple B, and hearing the stuff off Asphyxiating Cries, and to go back and hear that early stuff, I'm like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
Puberty? What happened?
yeah.
Yeah, and
I was singing lessons, man, and practice, and like we said earlier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this is like
beard.
it's
That's
a-
what
it's a thing. You can't help it.
it's a superpower.
Yes.
No, but yeah, like we said earlier, man, like practice makes everything. The more you practice and understand what it is that you're doing wrong and what it is that you need to do things right.
Right.
The more like it just becomes natural.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Dane's the new boy in the band, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And that also helped with kind of the tonal shift and the melodic part, as far as I could tell. Do you want to speak to that a little bit? Like, because you came in, you already knew what their music sounded like?
I had played music with David in a previous band, so we had played before. So he understood how I played and I understood how he played. So and it's just a different style.
Right on.
So I think it works well.
You seem to be I don't know how to say technician of the band when like you're very focused on what you're doing, and you're like you leave the grandstanding to them.
Yeah. Well, I feel like more happens in my brain than I do.
He feels like he's jumping on stage with
Happens a lot.
Right.
You know what? I mean,
A lot is happening.
one of the main things that like Dane mentioned that we played in a previous band together, and the reason why I thought of Dane right away when we needed another guitar player for this band is that Dane is like he's solid as a brick wall. You know? And
that's
that's
exactly the word that I was thinking of.
He's the rock.
Yeah, and I mean, like when you see us live, you'll see that he's jumping up and down, and like we're moving and all that stuff, and like so, Dane is what keeps us together, and like okay, we're grounded here, like,
He's the straight guy in the group.
so.
No, sorry. let me back up.
Come on, man.
Is this the
Stop it.
sweaters or what?
What I meant was.
Usually how I like to be blindfolded.
What did he say?
Is that giving away?
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of
That
comedy,
obvious.
he's the straight man in the act, but you know what I mean. Anyway, who did the animation part of Rain at the beginning of the video?
He should talk about that.
Digital Graphics Art Institute boy.
No. I know a lot of people that works in the audio visual aspect because I've been doing it for several years, and I met another Ecuadorian artist, which is freaking fantastic. His work is just like outstanding. Looks like Disney quality. If you've seen the video, you know I'm not bullshitting you. It's the real deal. And it just happens that we are from the same country, and he does freelance work, and we have worked together in several other things. And it's like, I'd rather be sitting down animating for you for an entire year than doing anything else because I love your music. So we have a fan that works with us and to make this
There you go.
whole thing look even better. Gustavo Arguello, if you want to find him, he's fantastic. Yeah. I don't need to sell them more.
Yeah.
You just
No.
go look at
See
him.
the video. And
Dude,
yeah.
seriously.
I was actually excited because I was like, oh wow, is the whole video going to be animation? And then you guys popped up.
And then
Those ugly faces show.
No, because
that was quite a challenging thing to get together too, because a few more details from the video, but we'll talk about that later.
Right. But I was just like, having gone through most of your previous videos, and I see that, I'm like, oh, they came up with an animated one, cool. And then I was like, oh no, it's just the intro. Who made the decision that you're just going to have the animation intro?
The budget.
Hey! Right on.
Yep.
All right.
That's a big one.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
It is. It's not all. It's not all it's cracked up to be, having to deal with a budget. That's for sure. I want to talk a little bit of individual questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We'll start with you, because you've been talking anyway. How did a metalhead from Ecuador end up in Barcelona?
I was born there. I was
Simón.
born in
Wow.
Barcelona, but I'm not Spanish. Like my dad, like my whole family is Ecuadorian, and what happened was that my dad got a gig in Barcelona,
As you do.
and right, like randomly, and my mom was pregnant, so they
As
flew
you.
there, and then I happened
As
to
usual.
be born there. As, like,
What's funny is
shit happens, man.
What's funny
And
is
so-
that Ecuador and Barcelona are on my personal little radar, because my father-in-law, who you met, there's a picture of a yacht there on the wall. They used to sail, they were in La Paz, they went to Ecuador.
Nice.
Like, he's been to Ecuador, and they have plenty of tales and brought back, souvenirs and things. And Barcelona, the first bassist for a band I was fronting called The Suspense, total white kid, shaved head, but not he's not like a neo-Nazi or anything, but total white. He was punk, and he graduated and started learning like jazz and other forms and just indie rock and things. He used to play in Barcelona, and I was just like, how?
Wow.
And to find out you were there, I was just like, okay, what's the story behind that? There it is.
I mean, I was born there, but I lived there for about a year, like when I was a baby. And then we went back to Ecuador, and then I lived my entire life there. But I went to college back in Barcelona because it was easy for me to get there, like in terms of visas and stuff.
Do you have
like
citizenship there?
that. I don't, but I have my, what's it called, like the
Visa?
Birth
the
certificate.
birth certificate. Thank you.
Ah,
My
small.
birth certificate is Spanish, but I never really claimed the citizenship. So, because
I thought you just
I'm a
I thought you
dumbass.
just got it for being born there.
No, you gotta claim it and do a
All
bunch
right.
of paperwork, which I'm an idiot and never did.
Okay.
But in any case, like, it was easy to get a visa and whatnot, so I went there for college and, lived there for a few years.
Okay. Next question. Vamos Carlos? Or Cerros? Sorry. Vamos Cerros? Why are you saying come on pigs?
Oh,
You
God.
gotta be careful what you put on your profile.
This guy, like, dug real deep. Vamos cerdos. That's,
Was that during your protesting days or what?
No. It's a long story, but I'll make it short. So we have...
This is a long form interview, buddy.
I love it. I'm liking it.
Back in
I'm liking
Ecuador, I have...
So what
like,
happened was
my closest friends
Mhm.
have been my friends since I can remember. You
Okay.
know, like I was friends with them since I was like
Movie making.
2 or 3 years old. And like, I mean, I met more of them like along the way, but like, when I was 9, 10, I don't even know. And like, so we're like super close friends, but like back in, high school and like early university years and whatnot, we called ourselves the pigs because that's what we were. Like we, teenagers and like, then, young adults and make like,
You don't shower.
we just, no.
young adults.
It's one of those things that, we all were, players with girls. And,
Oh, that's what you mean.
And-
yeah.
big
Big,
And-
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
and we drank. Like, dude, you have to go, if you want to drink, you go to Quito.
Right, yeah.
Because you don't know how people drink there. It's insane. Like, you drink,
It's a
and then
sport.
you drink, and then you drink,
It's a sport.
pass out,
I mean, I've drunk
wake
with
up
Russians.
and drink, Yeah, I mean,
Pretty much. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Pretty
the
much,
weather.
only-
It's like the weather
only
makes you
it's
drink
not
even
vodka.
more.
Here you go.
It's more.
I used to drink in.
No, that's reviews.
I used to
That's a
drink.
cool gig.
No, he gets
No,
paid
no.
for drinking.
Back when I was single, very single, I used to drink with at a bar in Northern California, in Davis, California, and for some reason, this Austrian physicist would come and go to this bar, and he would drink, and he drank, and oh my god, but he was hilarious, and he would tell us how at his work, they would have cases of beers and stuff underneath their. He worked in lab doing physics stuff, and they would have cases of beers and stuff. And when work was done, they'd hit the lights and they would start drinking and have a good old time. I was like, I want to work with you. Yeah.
So you don't work like that here?
No,
No, I'm sorry.
I work. No, I work. No, but I yeah.
Hey, let's work here.
Exactly. Why do you think I invite musicians to my home?
Right?
I have a very understanding family. Yes. Cool. Last question for you. For now. Hashtag guitars are better.
Because guitars are better.
Simone, but
Hey.
I just thought it was. Saw some. You posted something. Hashtags guitars are better. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I copy his hashtag and then I delete that.
Right. Bass guitars are better. Ooh. All right, Daniel. Studied at IGAD, Ecuador. Digital graphic artist. Were you the video director for Rain?
Pretty much.
Okay, I
Pretty
kind of.
much.
So, how long or
I will say the real director of this video is Dave, because he came up with the whole idea of gluing this story together.
okay, and you were basically running the storyboard and getting things.
And I got together with of course with Dave to get the idea more clear. And if you want to add a little more difficulty to this, as we were all in different countries at the same time, and that was kind of like the deal we have to deal with.
Right.
It was to glue all this together and match it with this Disney high quality animation. You see, since you are
like we're all like playing in the park.
Yeah.
this guy's playing in the park, this other guy's playing.
I was
in
going
the,
to ask about where did the park idea come from? Because some of your other videos totally fit the genre completely, and then I'm like, they're playing thrash metal in the park.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So basically, what we try to do with this video is like find the greenest area where whatever you are at this time, pandemic times, the plague time. We're in different countries and we're going through the plague, and we need to get done with this timeline.
Right.
We need to finish this video. The animation is ready. He's sitting down in his office and writing and doing and drawing.
And that was a big part of why the green, because that's what the animation looked like. So we wanted to make something that would, kind of be the same
Yeah, that will fit.
part of the puzzle.
Right.
It will fit like we were in the
Oh
wild.
no, yeah, it
The
definitely
jungle.
it fit, but it was still kind of like, huh? Right on. How
It was hard.
Now you have a day job doing graphic design, right?
More than graphic, graphic design is my background, but as I evolved into this audio video, I became more of a video creator.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
So, what do you? But yeah, so that's what you do when you're like in the day job.
That's my
Right on.
business.
Do you want to shout out a link or anything? Or?
Sure. I mean, if you want to get your music video look amazing, stunning, go hit the
Humble brag.
link.
I mean, if you've watched any of the Madzilla videos, not only Rain but any of them, it's Daniel.
It's Daniel.
Like,
That was my next question.
He did like every Madzilla video has been
Cool.
him.
And there's definitely been a progression over time, which I understand from the digital graphic artist and the video production and everything. You learn more and more and more and more. Talk to me about Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil.
At first I thought that was like a nickname for you, and then I realized, it's a whole other band.
It's a great friend of mine.
Oh, really? Do tell. Dr. Evil.
It's like Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker.
But there's a whole other band called
And
Dr. Evil, right?
It's a whole.
Is that like your stage name for that?
It's a whole project itself. It's a whole idea, persona, character. It's a product. It's a box.
All right, fine.
So basically, one day I needed to make music. As musicians, we have the urgency of create stuff. We need to let it out.
Mm-hmm.
And there were difficult times at that time in Ecuador. Some political transitions were going on, and everybody was pissed.
Right.
And I just wanted to let some energy out.
Was that before or after the earthquake?
That was before the earthquake.
Okay.
That was before and during the earthquake. Those were very rough times. And I just let some energy out, and I created this character, a mix between a wrestler and freaking
Yes.
some rockstar from the 80s. It's like they had a baby together, and it was this obnoxious character, Dr. Evil. Yeah, it was challenging to get to that character, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I mean, we did 2 albums with him, with that project. And when I came to Vegas, I decided it was time to,
Shelve it, put it away.
close the deal.
Right on.
It was fantastic. We did great things, and it's time for other things, for a bigger fish tank, and to be dealing with the sharks,
Oh.
like Judas Priest.
Which still, like, that must have been amazing to be on that bill. Moving on, Luis,
Yes.
you are or were the drummer for the Slots?
I was.
You were.
Yeah, that was a classic rock band that I used to play for a couple of years here in Las Vegas, around town.
Good old cover
Different
bands.
bars. Yeah. That's actually how I met Daniel, because I was playing, one of the gigs there, and this guy came over, he was like, hey, my name is Daniel, you guys sound great, and we started talking, and
Like, I hate this gig.
I actually really liked it.
It was
pretty
fun
cool
to watch you guys
yeah.
play, and it was nice
Yeah.
energy. That's
Yeah.
why I got.
Yeah.
Your social
Yeah.
media makes it seem like you really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I always
Yeah.
I love classic rock. That's one of the main music that I listen to. But
I do miss performing. I used to do 4-hour sets with a cover band, and we would kind of dig deep on some albums and stuff.
yeah,
And I do miss that, especially when someone recognized, like, oh, you're doing that song by Deep Purple, but not the one that they released, the one that's like 4 tracks into the album. Or
right,
whatever.
yeah,
I enjoyed that moment but that was more of just like let's see how good a musician I can be, as opposed to let's see how good of music I can write.
exactly. Yes, it's completely different because you're learning, something that was done a long time ago and trying to make it your own somehow. Create, put a little bit of your own flavor to it a little
Right.
bit, and that's how we met with Daniel, and then we started playing together, trying to, figure out if we were going to match, try to start maybe a new project or something like that, while he was actually playing with MADZILLA. And at that point, MADZILLA was looking for a new drummer, so I started learning the songs, I tried to figure that stuff out, and very complicated songs, of course, so I
Mhm.
had to practice a lot. But then I actually auditioned with these guys. We got together, played some music, and hey, I guess they like me because I'm here, right?
And honestly, what you were doing back there behind the kit, again at the Triple B show, I was like, I wasn't focusing on you as much, only because what you were doing just fit.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what you should be playing. Because sometimes you hear a drummer and they're playing like all like Dave Grohl style crazy 8-bar and stuff,
Yeah.
or something like that, or they're just playing basic.
Very basic stuff.
And you
yeah.
can hear it, especially when everybody else in the band is not playing basic. And you're like, okay, you're either new or you're insecure or something.
Yeah.
And no, you were right there. How many kits do you have?
Drum kits I have. Let's see.
And how many are in your living room?
Actually, in my living room, I don't have anything because I actually
You're not
have
a
my
drummer.
own. I have my own studio in the house in one of the bedrooms that we have
Oh,
there. That's where
nice.
we actually practice. That's you can see the studio in our social media.
Mhm.
But I have 6 acoustic kits and 1 electric kit. I actually have one of those kits in Ecuador because I play cover band.
You play online.
No, yeah.
I have done that as well.
No, I know I've seen that you'll clean them up and stuff, but did you actually did you work on them? Like you refurbish or you?
No, those are just my kits.
Okay.
I bring one of them for like one video shoot that we do, or the next one to a different one.
It's just the
I
only
don't
one
like
that
to
has a
use-
sponsor.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Right on.
But I don't like to see music videos from bands that they use the same exact gear. So
Oh, gotcha.
I
No. I mean, when
have-
you're starting out,
I know, but you know,
okay, fair enough.
I had
You gotta
those,
set
One
the bar
step
high.
ahead.
I had those
Gotta
kids
set
even
the bar
before
high.
I started playing with Mozilla, and
Now you're making me self-conscious, man.
All right,
Yeah.
on to Dane. So from former Marine, thank you for your service, to Las Vegas Metro PD, right? You're a radio dispatcher with them, I believe.
No, I'm a radio system specialist.
That's right. I'm sorry, not dispatcher. Are there a lot of metalheads in both of those fields, the Marine?
Actually, I'd say about the same amount because I found maybe one or two people that I click with in both of those
Right.
areas musically.
It seemed like my experience has been just out in the wild personally has been if somebody is one of those two, backgrounds and a metalhead, they seem to be the nice type of Marine or the nice type of police officer, the one that you want to actually have at your back and things, as opposed to some of the ones that are giving negative, press or connotations. What's the metal scene like in Tehachapi?
I've had friends that listen to metal, but that's about all I know about the metal scene in Tehachapi. Because when I left there, there was no venues, such a small town. There's no really
Right.
place to collect and celebrate that.
So you were playing, but you weren't playing.
Right.
Gotcha.
I just played in my bedroom.
That's where it starts. Right on. I couldn't find too much about you online, to be honest.
But
You were one of the mysteries.
intended.
Yeah, every band has like that one person that, if you're lucky, you find out something about them.
If you want to know about Dane, you better be ready
Oh,
to
Jesus.
get some shocking news.
Oh, spill the tea, son, please.
No, I mean one thing that I can tell you about Dane that I find very interesting is that he tries everything. Like he likes something, he likes photography, so he goes into it and learns as much as he can about it. And then he likes something else and he does the exact same thing. Like it's something that I
I'm the
really
same way.
admire
Yeah.
of Dane. That is like he always sees everything through and he like just has ideas and it's like, okay, well, I like that. I'm gonna pursue that. And
Then you probably have the same problem I have, where something piques your interest, you're like, I really can't take on another love interest right now.
All the time.
Yeah, I have things where I'm just like, I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen if I go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And I'll be, next thing you know, I'm like, well, honey, it was on sale. I need this to do the thing.
I think I've discovered that you can be as good as you want to be at something if you put all your time into it.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of successful people, or a lot of type A people, as they're called, tend to be very focused on like a couple things,
Yes.
And then there's people like me that tend to be like this. And it took me many, many, many years, it took me a few decades to figure out how to get down to like, okay, I'm a couple things here on this day of the week, and then I'll be over here. Because when you're like this, it's really hard to be good at one thing. You're okay at a bunch of things. And it's very tough to, you have to have kind of that, for lack of a better phrase, come to Jesus moment where you just look at yourself and you're like, okay, what do you really want to do? As opposed to, what are you really interested in?
Right.
It's, I've had to schedule, like, on Mondays I work on music. Because I have a line of merch that says, make music, not excuses. Because I have a problem turning around from my computer and looking at my guitar wall and my electric drum set and my electric piano, and my acoustic guitar and like doing something. And now I'm doing it, but it's hard because there's always that list of, okay, well, I've got this review to write, I've got this review to record, I've got this interview to do, to edit, and blah, 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 which I know, ooh, first world problems. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's the being creative to non-creative people, or people who think they're non-creative, it's a constant battle with yourself between confidence issues, what's the word I'm looking for? Imposter syndrome. Like, do I really deserve the positive responses I'm getting, or the money that people are paying me, or whatever, and just scatterbrainness, And then if you're ADHD on top of that, oh my god.
Oh man.
Yeah, you have then you like lists are your and reminders. I'm constantly telling my phone remind me. But anyway, moving on. I want to talk musical influences, early musical influences. Obviously, metal is influence for all of you, but I want to talk like what is that first musical influence that first got you thinking, I want to make music. I want to. Whether it's I want to learn this instrument, I want to, I saw so and so play, or I listened to this album. What is that first musical influence? And whoever wants to go first.
You can go.
I can go first.
You can
First
do it.
musical influence was NoFX,
Right on.
punk rock. I was really into punk rock for like a long time when I was on teen years for sure.
This is a man with the sides of his head shaved.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I was really into it. I started a bunch of bands in Ecuador, tried to pursue that there, but in Ecuador it's impossible. It was more of a hobby than anything else. And I used to play the guitar for like 10, 12 years.
I was going to ask you about that because I noticed you've played multiple instruments.
Yeah, yeah. So I used to play the guitar a lot until I lost until MADZILLA took my finger.
For a good reason.
For a good reason.
For a good cause.
And those
Yes.
damn cerdos.
Right.
It will take more if you keep talking shit.
Oh.
That's funny.
Maddie, attack. Anyway.
But then I actually started getting into, the better I got into guitar, I started getting into progressive rock.
Right on. Now, when you say progressive, you mean like Rush and things like that? Or?
Rush, Dream Theater,
Okay.
and then I went into more of
The
newer
complicated stuff, yeah.
very complicated math rock and all this stuff. So I'm really into that stuff.
Right.
Porcupine Tree, Pineapple Thief, all
Right
those
on.
crazy bands.
I have to be in the
Iron
mood.
Maiden is a big one.
I have to be in the mood to listen to like math rock and progressive rock. I have to really be like, all right, let's stretch my brain a little.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're just like, I just want.
Did you fail in algebra?
Actually,
That's probably why.
funnily enough, no. The first time I failed algebra, well, in high school I failed algebra because my teacher had a very weird, he was like, show all your work, but I'm not going to teach you how to do the work. Show all your work. But then in college, I had college algebra, and there was a girl. And, well, I skipped school. And when you're in college and you start skipping classes, what happens?
You become a musician.
Exactly. So I took the college class again. I think I got a C or whatever. But then years later, I'm the guy who 15 years after getting my associate's degree in general ed because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with my life, 15 years later I finally went back and got my bachelor's in information system security, and I do on-site tech support and IT stuff now, and I'm loving my life. I'm living my best life. But it took me 15 years to figure out, okay, enough dicking around, pardon my English, but it's time. You've got, you have the disposable income to do this. I went, and University of Phoenix is a way I can do it and still have a full-time job and a wife and a kid. And I did it, and I'm very happy I did it. But I had to take 4 math classes back to back to back to back. And I got an A in every one.
Now you
Alright.
enjoy progressive metal.
Yes. Math. But the lesson is, just because you think, oh, I'm not good at something, doesn't mean that you can't be good at something for at least a brief period of time. That's all you gotta do. So,
sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, right. I just gotta be good for this one set.
I was good at that one time when I auditioned for the band.
Right.
Hey, yeah.
There you go.
5 minutes.
Yeah, right. So your earliest influences were, you said, punk, and then complicated math, complicated, rock.
Yeah.
What led you into eventually proper metal, thrash metal type things?
Megadeth and Iron Maiden.
As you
Those
do.
were my main ones for sure.
Right on.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
I'll go.
Okay.
Well, since you asked what got you playing an instrument, I actually started off as a drummer.
Of course you did.
But
That's why they're
the actual
besties.
reason why I started playing drums was that I like soccer.
Football, yes.
Yeah, football.
And
And
who's your team? Because I can't remember.
Barcelona.
Of course.
I was born there.
Yes. All right.
So the thing is, I used to as a kid, I used to go to the stadium a lot.
Okay.
Just because it's fun to be there, you know what I mean? And like they bring drums, you know, to like
Right on.
keep the tempo, and there's chanting, and you know they bring trumpets, and it's a party. You know, you're there, you have a beer, and you're like yeah, and you just chant for the team.
And it's not like UK football where it's hooligans and things.
No,
There's no fights.
not at all.
It's a civilized version
It's just
of that.
it's a civilized version of that.
As opposed to your bullfighting. But anyway.
Let's talk about food later.
Yeah.
But I loved that. I had so much fun there, and like, you know, I always wanted to be, you know, the guy banging at the drum there.
Right on.
And so I was like, hey, that's fun. I like music. I like stuff. I could, you know, do something like that. And so I started playing drums, and then, I mean, I switched to guitar because the drums. When I went to college, I lived in a tiny apartment.
And the neighbors hate
And
drums.
and I lived with 2 roommates who were like, you know, like really quiet.
Bro.
And like, you know, like
Even a drum pad is annoying as hell if you're a roommate with
yeah.
somebody.
So, and I mean, I like I said, I got to a point where I practiced 8 hours a day, and then even when I had like long days, I would come home and then, you know, well, I don't need to sleep that long, you know, and just play for long hours. So like, I mean, I needed something that, you know, I developed such a love for, you know, music itself that I was like, I just want to keep playing, you know, and so I started playing guitar and then fell in love with it and nothing changed. But in terms of bands and stuff like that, what got me wanting to play metal was Metallica's One.
Yes.
I heard that song, like a friend had made a mixtape back in the 90s. And it was just random stuff like, and the one metal song that was in that tape was One.
Are you wearing a Metallica shirt? Yes, you
Oh
are.
yeah, Burden.
Yes. Rest
That
in
guy
peace.
changed.
Rest in power, buddy.
Well.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, the one metal song that was in that mixtape was One. And like when it played, I was like, dude,
What is this?
I cannot believe this exists.
Yeah.
Like what?
I remember
What the hell?
there was a period of time back when I thought I wanted to be a voice major, as in, you know, singing, and studying things like Grandmasters of the 20th Century Opera and things, and I was just like, I just want to sing. I don't want to like teach this stuff. But one of the classes I remember that was music theory, which still is a weak point for me, to be honest. But I remember he brought in Metallica and played some of their songs where they do total time change throughout the song.
Yeah.
As an example of how, you know, even contemporary music does this. It isn't just like, you know, Bach and Beethoven and stuff. And that's really what got me kind of digging Metallica as opposed to what I heard on the radio.
Right. Yeah.
And
Because
One was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole Injustice for All album is like
Yep.
once you fall in love with one of those songs, you play the rest, and like, you know, The Shortest Straw and all those songs. Is like,
You see, kids, there was a time when MTV and VH1 played music videos
Right. Yeah.
where musicians would sing and perform on camera. And at that point in my time, I was very much a fledgling songwriter. I was trying to find my voice as a singer and as a songwriter. And I was literally I was VCR taping. Remember VCRs?
VHS.
Yes, I was taping on VCR and VHS tapes, like the Metal Hour on MTV, and singer like MTV Unplugged and VH1 Storytellers, and I was really, for some reason, starting to gravitate towards Eddie Vedder's singing from Pearl Jam, and
It was a time.
and also Metallica, both in how they wrote music, but also James's singing, his enunciation, you know, need. Yeah, and I started writing. That's where my singing started coming from in terms of any rock music I wrote, or not ballad stuff really. And I really was like, hey, you know what? If I enunciate, people can hear me through the band a lot better. Because you go to a show, how many times do you can't understand a single word?
right.
I'm like, I know you worked hard on these lyrics, bud. and half the time it's the sound guy's fault, let's be honest. And half the time it's the fact that you're just not enunciating. And actually, I can hear your lyrics.
Somebody did
All right.
this tie right
Hey,
there.
that's a great compliment.
Yeah. Honestly, I need to start
My
saying
wife is very, like she makes sure that I enunciate.
Deliver the
every
message.
time I sing.
Yes.
Like every time she hears me practice and you know, when she comes to rehearsals and everything, she's always like, no, enunciate every word.
Yes. Yes. Don't do it in like conversation with your wife. Oh God.
Oh yeah, no, that would kill you.
Yes. So, moving on. Who's next? Earliest musical influence that made you want to, start making music?
Making music. I was a little kid living in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky.
Wait, Argentina? How'd you go from Ecuador to Argentina? Or vice versa?
I got very lucky because my stepfather was a soccer player.
Aha!
He was hired by Boca Juniors in Argentina, which is one of the greatest soccer teams in the world. And I was living there, and it's known in South America that Argentina is one of the one of the biggest spots in South America where they actually listen to rock music.
That's true. Iron Maiden had a lot of great shows there.
And indeed, I was going to school, and I was experiencing new exposition to new music. I was a child, and then I met this guy, a little kid. It's like, you need to listen to this music. I'm like, dude, relax. It was this little kid from Ecuador, like, what's going on with you? He was an outspoken kid. He was already, he already shot a few TV commercials for brands. He was a crazy kid.
Okay.
Like the outspoken, the famous kid in town. It's like, here, I'm gonna give you this mixtape that I made myself. And he wrote my name on the tape. With freaking, what's it called?
Sharpie?
Yeah, and he's like, he gave me that tape. This is for you. I'm like, okay, sure, thank you. So I was the new kid in town, and this kid gave me this tape. And when I went home, I listened to it. It was the first time I actually experienced the voice of Max Cavalera. And I'm like, what the fuck is this thing? It's blowing my brains off!
For the viewers that don't know, which band is he from?
Sepultura
Sepultura.
and
And
Soulfly.
currently Soulfly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I see. Soulfly's not on my radar. I mean, I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that you guys did tour with them,
After
but I haven't heard of them.
Sepultura, he had the Cavalera Conspiracy with his brother.
Uh-huh.
And he also started Soulfly. Soulfly has been around for like 20 years, and it's his.
See, I love
it's
doing
a-
this show because I hear all these bands and musicians that I never
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
of. When
Max-
I'm editing, I just make a note. And I check
Max
them out.
Cavalera, and I think it's his nephew that's the drummer in Soulfly.
Isn't it his son?
His son?
Yeah.
Why not?
It's his son!
Because why not? Nepotism. Hey. Anyway.
But
No,
I
I
mean-
mean, he's great.
it's a great
yeah.
band. Like, I mean,
I'll have to listen to them because
yeah. Dude,
should,
it's a great band. And
We have toured with them, and I'm
I
gonna
know.
tell you something. These people, they can play because they just love being there, and it just comes out of their freaking
Pores.
blood,
Yeah.
pores. They just.
it's not a very metal name though, is it? Soulfly.
I mean, it's
Why not?
Because you know what it is. It's like the name is kind of like what the band sounds like, because it's this like Sepultura heavy shit.
It's a tribe thing.
but mixed with Brazil spirit.
Okay.
You
It's
know,
a tribe
like
thing.
all
They're
these
very
tribal things, and it's heavy, balls heavy, but it's like it
Balls
has
heavy.
this it has this Latin feel to it,
Okay.
which is what makes it super groovy, and you're there and
Makes you want to shake your ass.
I mean, come on, that's all we want as musicians, right? Get those butts moving.
I was born for that.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Brothers de Brazil?
Yes.
I saw them open for Adam Ant at Hard Rock on the Strip.
When?
Oh, years ago. Same bass player who played in Barcelona for a while. He said, "Hey man, I'm going to Adam Ant. You want to go see?" And this is 2007. I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to go see Adam Ant. Let's go."
Dude.
Because why not? And it was amazing. Adam Ant, at the time, he had to be in his 40s, I think, maybe 50s. Comes out, Napoleon hat and trench coat, proceeds to do a 2-hour show, no breaks. Takes the hat off at last song or two, maybe, but just knocked it out one after the other. And it was amazing. But the Brothers de Brazil, they put on a great show too. It's two guys. The drummer looks like your traditional punk blonde, spiky
yeah.
hair. in like a leather studded jacket, and he's playing drums, and the singer's wearing like a zoot suit daddy because he's wearing a red suit, and playing, you know, he looks like a Brazilian Brian Setzer. But it was amazing. We love the brothers, day Brazil. Yeah. But yeah, you said Brazil. That made me think of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on because we're going down a rabbit hole. Dave.
So when I grew up, so I graduated high school in 2003. So I think that my musical influences had to do with like the timing of things, because when I was a early adolescent kind of teenager, my family and my sister liked stuff from the 90s like Nirvana and Alice in Chains and Metallica and things like that. But then when I began to meet my own friends and I got a bit older, was around like the 99 kind of like new metal era, where you saw bands like Korn and stuff come about.
Right, something was like, this is metal, but different?
It's very different. There's a big shift, I think, in that time period. But I actually became a big Soulfly fan myself, based on that, because they were involved in that new metal era. They have a lot of songs they collaborated with like Slipknot and different bands.
Oh, right on.
So I kind of went that way because I like the percussion, and I like the Latin sound myself, even though I'm from Central Ecuador.
Are you?
No.
Okay. South Central Ecuador.
I've told people that because everyone's from Ecuador except for
Yeah, I
me.
know. And that was a whole other question, was how did they land on you? But as far as like, you started on guitar, you stayed on guitar.
Yes.
Okay.
So I had a sister. She was. My parents bought her a guitar, and then she never really learned it.
So it became your guitar.
So it became my guitar. And
Siblings.
and I started to make noises with it that were similar to that I was listening to.
Right.
And then that's how I started playing. And I began to make it sound more similar to what I was trying to listen to.
Right on. And that's how a lot of, I'm just not even going to pay attention to that. A lot of guitarists start playing covers. Because what else do you know? You don't know how to write.
Right.
You think that's bad? I literally had a guitarist on here who went through four apples in an interview. I'm looking at you, Ryan.
It's gonna be
I'm
my
glad they're
first
actual apples.
Yeah, because I thought they were fake.
Right.
This
Oh,
one,
no.
I thought this one was fake.
Oh no, that's actually, this is it right here is powdered sugar because my wife and kid had to make a buttload of cookies for a thing at school. Pomegranate. Anyway, so your path was pretty straightforward then. It was, I found guitar, I like guitar, I make guitar noises. Yes. And right on. Whereas I started 7 years old with piano lessons, and that became eventually my dad sold a trumpet that he had for some reason, which I've never heard my father play trumpet ever while he was alive. Not once. He had this trumpet, and he sold it at a pawn shop, and he bought an electric guitar that had an amp built into the case.
Nice.
You ever seen one of those?
Oh.
And it was, I mean, nowadays you hear it and you're like, that sounds like shit. But it was it was like, thanks, it was amazing. And I'm doing one note solos, ding, 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 ding. And I part of my warm up is still some of the stuff I started doing then. But that slowly became, oh well, I want an acoustic guitar because I can play it anywhere and annoy everybody. And suddenly I realized, oh, playing acoustic is harder than electric, physically.
Right.
And also that you every guitar player on acoustic learns about the vibration, the buzz.
It demands a little more strength, right?
It does, and especially acoustic bass.
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine that. All right, well, moving on. Before we get in any more moving on, I just want to say that thank you very much. This episode is actually brought to us by my patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much. Patreon.com/room6. Any money I get from that helps make better videos and also is going towards the music scene. Eventually, should the funding appear, I would really like to put on showcases. I've talked about this in the past. A showcase, basically like 5 at a time. I'll just go down the list of interviews I've done with bands or musicians that they've been on the show. I'm going to have you do a showcase. the idea is it's not only exposing you to fans or music fans that you wouldn't normally, they wouldn't be at your show necessarily because maybe they're world beat or maybe they're, folk artists or country. And I want to put on that bill that's like, you'll never see these 5 acts together ever again, but here you go because they're all here for one common purpose, which is Room 6. This is me saying thank you. So 5 bands, everybody has merch out, and free show for the fans, and every band gets paid. When's the last time you played a showcase where you got paid?
Right.
So, and maybe it's $50 a guy, but still, it's like, here you go. I'm giving you something as a thank you for being on the show and a thank you for supporting the show. So, patreon.com/room6. You'll really help out the channel. You'll help out the music scene. Moving on. From earliest musical influences, I wanted to talk about gear. Look at you, drummer boy. The drummers always take forever. We already know you have 6 kits plus an electric set. None in your living room.
Yes.
So I want to talk, what gear do you currently rock at a show? And do you rotate through the sets? Or like a show at Bit Triple B, would that always be the same kit?
So I have
And let's talk sponsors as well.
I have a specific kit that is the one that I bring for like MADZILLA shows, which is Pearl Export, which is, expensive enough but cheap enough to, if it breaks, it breaks,
Right.
but it sounds great, So that's the one that I usually bring for metal shows. I have Gretsch Catalina, which is the one that I usually bring for more like classic rock stuff.
That's appropriate, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different sound. It's a little more classic type of sound on it.
That's the white kit, right?
That is like a wood grain type of finish.
Oh, I thought you had it was like the kick drum was, the panel was white on that.
That's the export.
Oh, okay, that's Gretsch though, right?
No,
That's
that's a Pearl. Pearl export.
Alright, sorry.
Yeah. Well, the Gretsch actually has a front white cover as well, like a front head.
That's what I saw in the picture, that's what I was thinking
yeah.
of. Okay.
Then my main kit, which is the one that I keep at the studio because it's a more expensive one, of course, is a Pearl Master. So
Ooh,
I keep
snazzy.
that one. Yeah, I have a nice built-up rack. I have like electric pad on the side. I have 2 snares. It's
Sorry, buddy, no shame. No fruit shame here.
You said self-service, man.
I lay out
Everything but the apple. Of course.
copious amounts of booze.
Everything but the apples, of course.
It's all good.
Now I
man.
understand.
I'm just joshing you. I'm just joshing you, buddy.
Have everything but the
We're
apple.
just talking
Oh,
about
you
gear
got
with a bunch of crunches over there.
It's all good.
It's fine.
So, sponsored by.
The crunchy apple.
Those
I'm
apples
on
are
a
from,
drink to that. A drink to that one.
those apples are from Ecuador. So
Honestly,
Central Ecuador, where Dayton's from.
very well could be. I don't know. Probably that's really Mexico. Anyway,
everything
the
else.
sponsor is Alpha Custom Drums and Boomer Lugs.
because of that.
It's my friend Daniel from Ecuador. He actually makes his own custom-made drum snares.
I do that, yeah.
So those are acrylic drums made in Ecuador.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on. We have a link or anything for that?
Yeah,
Like
I'll-
at something?
Yeah, it's at Alpha Custom Drums.
There you go.
Yeah.
For future Josh.
Yes.
Because future Josh doesn't always know what the hell someone's saying. So, all right, next. Here,
Me?
rocking at a show. I
Um,
don't know, whoever.
I can go.
We don't have to go down the line.
The
It's fine.
boss goes first.
She's not here.
Nice.
The actual boss
The
is
actual
my
boss
boss.
is not here.
Anyway,
So what happened was,
I play. I mean, my brand of choice is Ibanez.
I don't
I-
argue with that at all. You got that one with the hand grip, right?
Yes, I like Ibanez because their 7-string guitars are fantastic. They're out of this
You do play. That's right. You do play 7-string.
Yes.
I forgot to put it in my review of the show, but I did notice that. I was like, hey.
Yeah, the thing with that, this is the reason why I play 7 strings. It's
Okay.
that I went to university for music. Like, I have a bachelor's degree in contemporary music.
Oh, really?
So I learned, you know, like reading charts and like this note is this note and then blah 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 blah. You know, so like it's very difficult for me to stir away from that. You know, and then there's been bands that I've played on that, you know, use different kinds of tuning and like, you know, like
Right.
drop this and drop that, and like it confuses me so hard. Like it's like, you know, I know this is this chord, I know this is this chord, you know.
Oh,
and, like,
believe me, especially writing a sole, you're just like
yeah. It's like
when it's in drop D or
when
something.
when you're doing lead is like, wait, this doesn't like. You press this note, but it doesn't sound like the note you need.
And then you get a capo in there.
And then it's like, whoa, you know. So like it throws me off so hard. That being said, I do like the big ass rumble of like, you know, low end.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I love playing in
you
drop
know,
D
like,
for
The,
something like
the drop D, drop C, and all that stuff. Like that sounds balls heavy, you know. Like I should give a shout out to the band Mastiff.
Yay.
From here.
I want to get them on the show if you're watching.
They should be on the show because they're badass. And they play in drop C. And
That explains so much.
when you listen to their songs, that's what it sounds like. It's like you know, the big giant stepping.
Sounds
on
like
your
you're
face.
going to war.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's
And
what
so I dig that.
Yeah.
You know, it's confusing to me, and so that I can play in standard tuning and actually, you know, have my brain actually wrapped around everything.
Well, you do a lot of arpeggio stuff.
Yeah.
And like not even like you do most of the soloing, correct? Or you guys
We
do
kinda
melodic?
share.
You share the soloing?
We share it.
Right on.
It
But
is a cool song.
even when just while you're singing, I see you're doing stuff.
Yeah,
You're doing
yeah.
runs,
Like,
and which
a
to
lot
me
of
is
the-
still light years ahead of where I'm at.
A lot of the riffs that I write are they're melodies. Like I write a melody, and from the melody I start adding like what are called pedal tones, which is, you know, what you fill in the gaps with low end notes, and usually a pedal tone is just one. Like let's say the song is in B, B minor. Okay, so your pedal tone would be the open B. You know, so like you play the melody, and every moment where there's silent in between the notes of the melody, you play your low B.
Right.
So instead of being you'll do. Make sense?
Okay, gotcha.
Click here
Now-
to tip us for the music class.
Music theory, yes. I told you music theory was weak. But what are you rocking for gear though? Because we're on gear now.
Oh yeah.
So,
Sorry.
So what
Ran
model?
on a tangent.
What model of
I
Ibanez with a handhold cutout are you?
I use an S series 7-string Ibanez,
Okay.
and I use the exact same one. I have an 8-string, and
Because
it's
why not?
white. It shines.
Well,
It's
that's the one from the video. Last Embrace. No.
Last Goodbye. No,
Last Goodbye,
that is a gem. It's the Steve Vai signature guitar.
Steve Vai.
That one's a 6-string, but I really like it because it's Ibanez, and
Yeah.
you know it has a handle.
I got an Ibanez acoustic cutaway up there. That's
And
my
the-
baby.
The light went out.
Bessie. Oh, what's going on with camera number 3? We're back. So much has happened off camera, but we're not going to go into that. All right, cops are gone, right?
Cops are gone.
Yes.
Cool.
Fine.
Ah! They're still here!
Can you tell it to me?
Oh,
I did not see that
we're going to break the dumpster.
You're under arrest!
Maybe I'll do the interview like this. All right, so we're back to David. Back to
Yes.
David. So you play Ibanez what model?
I play a 7-string S series.
Right, at a show.
Yes.
Now-
I also own an 8-string. Is the exact same one.
Okay.
And I own we were talking about the gem is the Steve Vai signature.
Right.
I like that one because the whammy bar is a lot stronger.
Ah, yes.
But I also play some LTDs from ESP.
Oh, LTDs.
I like those because they fast riffs. Like when you pick fast, it cuts through real well. like and then that's it's.
Gotta have the like Perry the Platypus over here.
Yeah. I like that. You know, I like that.
Parents know.
It's just you gotta get in that shape. You know, so it's like.
Right. Do you care about your strings or just whatever? You always use the same strings?
Yes. I mean, I've been through several.
Okay.
But Ernie Ball seems to be.
Ernie Ball what? Slinkies?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
It's what has worked best.
I'm gonna guess here. Your gauge, you're playing 10s?
No, I actually play 9s.
Okay.
But sometimes, like some of my guitars have
I'll just do
a
this.
hybrid.
I'm tired of turning around here.
I have some of my guitars as a hybrid so that I can have 10s on the bottom strings
Right.
and then 9s on the higher strings, just so that, you know, I can go faster when it's like...
Yeah. That's a common thing, yeah.
But then the it sounds more like you know. But yeah, that and yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, in terms of like pedals and amps and stuff like that.
Because you definitely have a pedal board.
Yes. Here's the thing. I don't use much. Like if you listen to my sound, is plain distortion. I can go direct to the amp and that's it. You know, like
that's true. What you do is you're more the backbone guitar.
Yeah. Like I don't use much. You know, so I don't need like 15 pedals or anything. It's like
you're not Steve Vai.
Yeah, give me a good distortion and I'll be happy.
What's your go-to distortion?
That's a tough question, but I
really?
You know what I like?
Boutique?
No. I like the best I've ever experienced was I used to own the Joe Satriani PD amp, and that one
It sounded better because it was red.
Yeah, that one roared heavily. But I really like the distortion that the JCM 800 from Marshall has.
Right on. But what are you currently rocking?
I used to own that amp as well, so like I used to just go straight, distortion on, and then it's just EQ. But right now I'm playing, and this is the reason why I'm doing this.
Stay on point. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. We travel to play.
Yes, you do.
And it's a big pain. Excuse my language, but it's a pain in the ass. to bring.
David, how dare you?
To bring.
Watch your fucking language, dude.
Fired.
Jesus Christ.
You are fired.
You're fired.
You are fired. Or condemned to play with a mask for at least 20 gigs.
Yeah. So no one can see my face.
I wasn't expecting that one. Wow.
Oh wait. We have to wear masks, anyways.
Hey.
Not on stage.
Thanks, Corona.
No, but like because of convenience, I've swapped to like a Line 6 pedal board. It's what's it called?
I don't know. Why are you asking me? Yeah, I know it's doing it.
HD 500. HD 500 Deluxe.
SD card full. Thanks, kid.
That's fine.
Sorry, guys.
Well, it's not that anymore.
It's all good. We'll do this.
So, leave the light on.
Some of the fun of using your daughter's cell phone, your 13-year-old daughter's cell phone, is that the SD card is now full. That's a 128 gigabyte SD card.
Hey, when you're a kid, a lot happens, man. You gotta get it on video.
Yeah. So anyway.
I currently use a Line 6 HD 500 Deluxe. Okay. It's a pedal board. I mean, the reason why I use that is because it allows you to model amps.
Yes, the technology now is amazing for what you can get out of whatever amp you're going through. Yeah. Like that's not how that's supposed to sound.
Right. And then the other thing is like it allows you to go direct into the console without like usually.
Oh, gotcha.
Usually, if you use pedals or a regular pedal board, you have to, go through an amp and then mic the amp.
Yeah.
Because if you go direct, it sounds horrible. Mm-hmm. But this pedal board and Line 6, for that matter, allows you to go direct, and you need nothing else. So when traveling, especially if you're flying or like, you know,
Right.
if you don't.
So it's almost like you have a rack of stuff, but you don't have the rack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Right on.
it models everything. So like if you want a specific type of pedal and it models that, or a mic and the placement of the mic within the amp and whatnot. So like it's convenient more than anything else. So it's what I've been using currently. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm looking at the Fractal.
The fractal.
3.
Okay.
It's amazing. So I may steer in that direction, but for now, this is where I'm settled.
And to add something for David, there is we use in-ears when we're playing live.
Oh, you do? I
So-
didn't notice that.
So the pedal boards that they both use, Dane and David, it allows them to plug in directly to front of the house and at the same time for the in-ear.
It has a built-in splitter,
Yeah.
Awesome.
so you can send the signal.
So we play,
Very
with,
cool,
we play
yeah.
with tracks, we play with, you know.
Because we use click.
Yeah, we use click now.
Like we play with a metronome every show. So you know.
You're one of those bands.
So we need.
That explains so much about how tight you are. I had a band on here. They said every practice, everything we have in-ears, and I was like, that totally makes sense. Why don't more bands do that?
Yeah.
That's the only one.
It's not as easy when you play the type of shows that we play, you know, because
Right.
it's not like, you know, it's not that you get there and you have a 5-hour sound check or like even a couple hour sound check. Sometimes we get there and there's not even a sound check. You know, you just walk up stage 15 minutes before
Line
you're
checks
on
are
and like
fun,
ting ting
yeah.
ting ting. You know, so like we figured out a way that you know we bring our own in-ear console, but we need to feed it.
I just want to say real quick about the show where I met them at Triple B. Every other band was hanging out in the green room or at the bar. These guys were they were out front, like setting up the merch table and just hanging out and checking out the vibe of the place and everything. And I was like, where's MADZILLA? Where's MADZILLA? Nobody knew where you were because you were standing at your merch table.
Yeah.
This is business.
Yeah, and I mean, and
It's our business,
we also like to watch the other bands. You
Well,
know,
yeah.
like, we like.
But it
We
was
like
funny.
to-
It was funny how not once were you in the green room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think you never once were in the green room.
I know somebody that was at the green room.
Hey, you knew me.
No,
The
but
green
I
room
mean,
at Triple B is actually legit. It's actually really cool. But yeah, I know you're there to sell merch. Let's be honest, you're there to sell merch or you know the shirt or something,
yeah, it's what finances everything. So.
right? And also to have fun. All right. Well, moving on. Unless you want to get real granular,
No,
like do you always use the same picks or any of that stuff?
I mean,
I use whatever.
this,
I have a pile
this
of
is the
picks.
pick
that-
I use.
what the same pick.
I mean,
It's the same pick.
it's the same kind, but yes,
Right
it's
on.
the Jazz 3. from
Hey, at least it doesn't have your picture on it.
No,
It's happened.
I use
Damn,
this
you
because
guys are real
it's the
musicians.
perfect size,
You're like a real
And-
musician.
the
Yeah.
perfect thickness.
No, I literally
That's
have.
what she said.
A lot happened off camera. So anywho, moving on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk anymore.
Moving on to the Limp Master Supreme here. What are you currently rocking at a show? Are you still wearing? No, you.
Oh, me.
Are you still rocking your bedazzled bass?
Oh yeah, that was actually a gift.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
I back in the days I used to play Ibanez because I like the versatility of the sound.
Yeah, I bet his basses are totally respectable.
And it was so comfortable to play, 5 strings, like it is less than 4 strings, a very thin bridge. It's very comfortable and it's very versatile in every single sound.
And
But
the style you play, you're all over that thing.
And then I got this bass as a present, and it was massive. Like
Massive.
it was like the neck, like I wasn't barely able to reach it with my small hands, but the sound was.
Thick.
It was. I started playing music because I wanted to be a drummer, and I like the percussion sound.
I'm noticing a theme here.
I just don't like to carry all that bullshit.
Harmonicas, that's where it's at.
So at the first, I'm like, okay, I want to be a drummer. No, I don't want to be a drummer anymore. I saw my drummer friend carrying all that stuff. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So, but I still love that percussion sound. And when I got this Fender bass, a suppressant, jazz bass.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
Jazz
so
Master.
freaking percussive. It's like you bang it and it sounds like a drum. So for me as a player that tries to play as much as I can with my fingers, it's like every time you stroke it, it's like you're playing on the drum. Bam, bam, bam. It's one hit. Bam, 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 bam. It's like a punch. And that's what I like about the bass. Whatever you put me in my face,
Right.
that will deliver that cutting through wave that will go through your body
Ow! Thanks for the warning.
as a sound wave. That's what I expect on an instrument. I mean, either it's Ibanez, Fender. If it cuts through the air and it goes through your body and it makes you feel like you're getting slapped in the face, that's what I want as an instrument.
Here, enjoy this. And I will say, at your set, I could hear every bass note you were playing, which is not always the case for metal. Which is not always the case for metal at all. But yeah, I could definitely hear everything you were playing. And I was like,
I think
partly
I
'cause I'm
think
standing right behind
to that comment, I'd like to add that we do take quite a bit of time at rehearsals to figure out the frequencies in which each instrument needs to sit,
Yeah.
so that we don't clash, and that everything complements each other.
That's actually a really
You know what I
important part for new musicians, or just musicians in general. Rehearsal is not for you when you learn your part. Rehearsal is when you figure out where your part fits with the rest of the band and where you figure out the ins and the outs of the songs and also the dynamics. Like, okay, what do I need to do to cut through the rest of the band when it's my turn to solo or my turn to, whatever. And because we've all been in bands where rehearsal suddenly becomes this, I'm still working on this part. Oh, why aren't you ready? That's what practice time is at
That's
home
when you
for.
move on.
Yeah, exactly.
The next
That's what you
project.
find
Yeah,
that
you're
makes
going to get another band.
That's
Wow,
when you go to the
thank
next
you, because
project.
that is a very wise comment.
Oh man,
for sure.
I actually made a video about it. Here, long time ago, and I was just like, it was such a pain in the ass. Like you'd be rehearsing and be like, why? You knew when rehearsal is, and you know that we're doing this song. Why isn't it ready?
Because he's not into it.
Like we've been working on this song for a month. What are you doing? Practice at home. That's what practice is for. Is to do it over and over and over and over and over, so that when we get rehearsing, it's fun because
you've already done.
Yeah.
You've already done it over and over.
and you're like, hey, look what I got. Yeah, that's what rehearsal is showing your bandmates, hey, look what I got. And then if you have a new idea that you all can practice at home, you pull that out then and be like, okay, here's what I got this idea. But it's not for you learning a song. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, if you're paying for studio time.
Oh yeah, to show up and then
Unless you're like,
learning the stuff.
that being said, there's been many songs that we all love that have been written in the studio.
Yeah.
And they can afford, you can afford to do that there. Go for it.
And it's one of those things that it's like, if it's a writing session, if you know you're gonna show up and like everyone brings ideas.
Yeah.
There are
that's
different
one
kinds
thing.
of process.
Right.
That's one of them.
Right.
It always seemed natural to me you start off by saying, okay, let's run over stuff that we know already. Let's run over the stuff we played over and over and over again as a kind of a loosening up and remembering how to do stuff. And then you'll be like, okay, I had this idea for that such and such song, or I had this idea for a new song.
Right.
Kind of
And
thing.
then yeah. But yeah, like you said, there's nothing worse than getting to the rehearsal room and then it's the same rehearsal as last time because nobody did anything.
Oh God, yes.
It's like nobody
Feeling
remembers
like
what
you
happened
wasted,
last time.
like,
It's
why am I here?
Like this was the exact same rehearsal 3 weeks
As the
ago,
frontman, have you ever had rehearsals where you didn't sing for most of the rehearsal?
right?
Because you're just like, okay, I guess we're working on our parts. What the hell? Sure. What the hell?
But thankfully
No, you haven't.
that doesn't happen with this lineup currently.
Right. Well, he
Like-
plays bass. He plays good.
Oh yeah.
According to his Craigslist ad. All right.
No, I mean we
Hire me.
He's still on
call
Craigslist.
me.
I'm still on Craigslist.
He's still on Craigslist.
I'm still on MySpace. Yeah. All right. Real quick. Let's finish up. Aside from the bass you're playing, pedals, anything like that?
Oh yeah. I totally agree with Dave. You're a musician. You're on the road. You gotta go play your gig, grab your stuff, go to the next city.
Right.
You gotta be portable.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, you have like 15 minutes to set up and 15 minutes to break down. In between
You gotta be
sets.
fast. You gotta know exactly how you want to sound, and you gotta have exactly what you need.
Right. This isn't a we'll be here next week situation.
You gotta be able to
You have
put
one
out
shot
your
to show people
sound
who you are. Yeah.
right away. So you gotta minimize your rig. And I got this little pedal board when I have my preamp, a little extra boost, which I use a chorus, so I can bring out the volume and not add extra frequency, so I can fill up spaces sometimes.
Right.
And sometimes I use a wah, but I killed it. So
You killed it.
I killed the wah, yeah.
Bass player killing a wah. Nice.
Yeah, basically my sound is right now is a preamp, what did I say?
You have a chorus.
A chorus in a direct box. A direct box will let me to plug in into
The red
anything.
box. Oh,
anytime.
direct box.
A
Sorry.
direct box.
I heard the red box.
The red box.
What the hell's the red box?
I would change it to
Direct.
that. I would paint it
The
red.
red. Yeah. Well, if you said
I
the
will
orange
paint it-
box, it'd be, like, it'd be a Boss distortion. All right. Anyway,
It's just run and gone.
Yeah. No, direct box is awesome. Oh, so you're fairly simple on your pedals.
It's the way you have to be, because back in the day, going back to Dr. Evil times, I used to freaking got the wah, the ambient, the lights, the smoke, everything.
And there's a time for that.
Exactly.
There is. I always had that dilemma in my head of like, okay, I'm in the studio, I have this idea that I can't replicate live, but it'll sound amazing on the album. Do I want to, do I want to sound better on the album, but never ever be able to replicate it? And there's always that. How do you guys feel about that? We'll get to you on your gear.
You go back to the basics. Great distortion, great clean,
Right.
and great ambient.
So if you
I
can't
think
replicate
no more
it,
than that.
if you can't replicate it live, there's no point.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
why do you
think-
want to replicate what is on the record when you can do it live in a very
Right.
raw way?
I mean,
I
'cause-
think,
oh, go ahead.
I think that the one thing that I'd like to add to this is that through the years, one thing that I've learned, and I know Daniel can back me up on this, is that, and this goes to like any musician, like no matter what level you have, because I've seen musicians of all levels do the opposite of this, and that's a problem. It's like I think the sound is here. Your sound is in you.
Oh, gotcha.
You know,
Over
the
here,
way
your fingers.
the way you sound is the way you play. You know, so if on bass, like if you're not like slapping the strings the
It's
way
your
you
fingers.
have to slap them, and like if you're not picking correctly, you can have whatever gear you want.
Mhm.
It's not going to sound great.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
not-
and like, and when you're talking about replicating what you did in the studio live, that's practice so that you can play like you played sitting down super comfortably,
Right, like
head banging.
to me, going in the
Yeah,
studio
it's
should be exactly like a rehearsal. You're like, okay, here's what I do, boom, and then you wait for the engineer to tell you when to play.
Yeah,
That being said, we all have probably songs that we enjoy that you'll never hear live, but they're amazing creations. Like Dave Grohl, I'm a big Foo Fighters fan.
We're actually
You're going to Foo
tonight
Fighters tonight?
for free.
What? I'm so jealous. I'm gonna mug you French chicks. First of all, congrats. Someone's very happy behind the camera right now. But Dave Grohl did the song "Play" 28 minutes long, where he just are you familiar with this? He just kept doing takes until he got 28 minutes of uninterrupted play on every single instrument, including he was playing, the xylophone, or it might not have been the xylophone. It was the other instrument. Anyway, he played like 7 instruments on this song, and it's an amazing song. You should check it out on YouTube. Play Dave Grohl. It's amazing, and it was for actual purpose of promoting, like, hey, we need to teach music to kids in school. But that type of thing, he's never going to perform that live.
Yeah.
But it was amazing.
right.
I did a song where I had 7 guitar tracks, and I said, hey, what if we played them all at the same time? And they worked, because I just kept doing guitar solos and trying new things. And then I put them together, I was like, yeah, I like that. I'll never replicate it ever, but I like that. Let's do that. So that song will never be played live like that.
Yeah, but that was the purpose of it.
That
You
was,
know what I mean?
but that wasn't, originally that wasn't the purpose. And also, I had Serena Kitty, lead singer of Floridian, come in and sing vocals with me. And, I can't guarantee that, she'll be available to ever perform it live. So it was a very much one of those, I have an idea, I want to do it, don't care if I ever play it live again. So let's move on. This man's been patiently waiting. Talk about your gear when you play.
Right now I play a 7-string, a Legator multi-scale. It's the Legator Ninja.
Legator, I haven't heard that brand. Where are they from?
I'm not sure.
A store.
I bought that guitar at a pawn shop on Eastern and 215.
Eastern 215, was it Easy Pawn?
Links
Yes.
here.
I used to work I used to work at that one. I used to work for Easy Pawn actually, and I sold many a guitar, and I have a few that I bought there.
The link's not gonna be
Yeah,
here.
No.
it was actually one of the most least expensive guitars I've ever purchased, but it's my favorite.
Right on.
And it has passive pickups, and I have guitars with active as well, but I know for some reason that matters.
Now, why do you like the passive over active? Just for my own edification, my own education here.
So I have two different setups. I have a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier with a Mesa Boogie cabinet.
Okay.
And when I use that, I like the actives. And then when I use the Line 6 pedal that I use with MADZILLA because of the in-ears split audio option, I like the passives. And for some reason, it sounds cleaner to me.
Right on. It's something that a lot of guitar players don't think about.
Right. Yeah. And I've gone through both setups because the first setup for me, I like the idea that my amp is creating the distortion that is happening, is creating the sound naturally through the tubes. And the other setup that I have is a simulator of that.
Wait, explain.
So if you buy a Line 6 pedal or a guitar effects simulator, it's a simulation of those tubes.
Okay, gotcha. Now,
Because it models the amp.
all right.
It's a model.
Yeah.
So you can tell it to model a specific type of
Oh,
sound
gotcha.
that
So for that situation where you wouldn't necessarily get the sound that you wanted, you're getting the sound you wanted artificially, kind of.
or
Artificial,
close
yeah.
to it. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about tubes. What amp are you getting? What tube amp do you have?
I have a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier.
Oh, you said that. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Pedal-wise, what are you doing?
All I do is I match the gain with an overdrive. And then the only other thing I use is a noise suppressor.
Really?
That's
I
it.
thought you were doing. I thought I saw you tapping more stuff.
He uses a wah pedal.
Well,
Cries.
so I've added, so when
Kinda
you
crybaby.
say, so with MADZILLA, I have a Line 6 HD 500X, which allows me to plug into their in-ears.
Oh, okay.
And I've created just two profiles, and then when I solo, all I use is a wah, so
Wah.
it cuts through the mix.
So you're not changing anything on the solo except adding the wah.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's important when especially when you have a band that's got a heavy sound, that when it comes time for you to shine, you gotta have something that cuts through without being totally not fitting. You know.
Yeah.
Right, because and I like to make a channel that has a few levels up in the, because if I don't do that, you won't hear me at all. It'll just kind of sit. Right
Nothing
there.
worse than when you realize no one's hearing me at all, and I'm totally lost in the mix because everybody is loud. All right, cool.
These two guys are.
Do you have any particular like strings or picks or anything, any sponsorships or anything like that?
No, I use the Slinkies, same as David, and it just depends on what song I'm playing because I shift between paper thin picks or like a medium,
Oh wow,
depending if I'm doing a lot of like
right on.
like speed picking type stuff.
Speed tripping. Are you doing the hybrid 10-9 thing
I'm not sure what that is.
like he does, where
The gauge of the strings.
the gauge of the strings? Sorry, where your thinner strings are 9 gauge and your thicker strings are 10. Or no, I'm sorry, I have it backwards, don't I?
Yeah.
Your
No, I
thinner
use a
strings-
heavier gauge because I feel like I play more of a like rhythm roll.
Really?
And it really feels
Yeah.
massive.
Mahusive. Right on. All right. Well, now that we've bored everybody who's not interested in gear, all the gear nerds are like, great. All right.
Thank you guys.
I wanted to. We have 2 questions left. Okay, you're almost there. Wanted to ask, number one, what is your favorite show memory? Whether good or somebody went to jail or whatever, and somebody from behind the camera has a memory apparently. Well, what is your favorite show memory, and what?
Yeah.
What is it, Alexa? What is it? Apparently we have a delivery.
Nice. The pizza's here.
And I'm pizza's here, yes.
Room 6 pizza.
I have
There
a
you
question about the question. Is it a show that we've been to or that we
No,
have
no,
played?
from playing, yes.
Okay.
What is your favorite show memory that you've played as Madzilla, and you know why? And whoever wants to start.
Oh, I can give you one. I can give you one that's really funny, but it's not. It wasn't with Madzilla. It was previous to that, and then I can talk about more Madzilla stuff. But I'll just say this because it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
One time I was on stage, like a couple thousand people in the audience, and so like I'm like rocking it, right? And so like I'm head banging like
Right.
crazy. I got so dizzy. And I'm holding the guitar, and it's just like, and I got so dizzy I fell off. Like on stage, I actually fell off.
Fell off the stage?
No, I
Oh.
fell on stage, but
Okay.
whomp. And the band kept playing, like nothing's
As you
happening.
do. Yeah.
But that was prior to Madzilla. But I thought I'd mention that.
No, that's a good one. Anybody else?
I have a few.
Spill the tea,
he's
son.
got plenty.
Actually, we're gonna take a quick break here. I think we need another booze break. Boom. We're back again. Somebody else got a favorite show memory? Anybody? Anybody else?
There are plenty of.
Someone with no hair on part of their head, possibly, or
Oh, is that me?
That's you right there.
I think Dane has something.
He said no hair.
I said no hair on part of their head.
Okay.
I think right now, I think that my favorite show memory is going to come from Warlando, and being able to travel, and then go outside of our current environment and go and do that. Because the first thing that I was greeted with when I arrived at that stage was I stepped out of my rental vehicle, and I was halfway, almost up to my knees in mud.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah.
That's how you do it.
And then my shoe was in the mud.
Welcome to Florida.
So I was wrestling with the swamp for a while, and that stayed with me for most of the day because I was wet.
For those of you that don't know, Warlando is the music festival they played where they opened for Judas Priest. What was it like? What was it like playing there? Did you get to meet Judas Priest, or were they just all like in their trailers? And stuff?
No, see, we played. There's separate stages, and we played on a different stage.
Okay, gotcha.
But we were pretty active, and we were around the entire festival, so we got to meet quite a few people.
Right on.
From that.
But your favorite show memory though is being knee deep in mud.
That was my favorite.
Okay. That's metal.
Yeah.
Mud. That's muddle.
on top of after playing, I got to see a good show.
Cool.
I got to take a lot of photos and do things that I like to do personally. I brought my family down. They hung out with me in Florida, and that's why that was my favorite show memory.
Right on.
And one thing that was really cool about that festival was they had this kind of like green room area where everyone but Judas Priest was.
Of course.
So I mean, I have no idea where Judas Priest was all day, but
I don't think Rob Halford's going to be walking around in knee deep mud.
Yeah.
He's hurting.
He's
a lot.
probably like.
Just
But-
using the mud.
But everyone else was there. So like we got to hang out with Dino Casares and everyone from Sabaton, and
El Nino.
El Nino.
Yeah, it seemed like a
There's
solid
a story with
band
that.
list.
Yeah. It was great because we got to go there and it's one of those things that like both when we toured with alongside Soulfly, it's one of those things that you just get to meet these people and it's fun to see who they are not on stage, and actually just talk to them and know, like exactly like what we're doing right now, but it's interesting, you know, when you get to meet these people that you've actually listened to for forever.
Right.
You know, like
To realize these are
it's
actually
like-
people.
Yeah, and it's just you just have a conversation and have a beer, and
Yeah.
it's
I have to tell you, one of the best things about this show, aside from discovering new music and musicians, is just no matter what the band is, no matter what their persona is on stage, how badass they are, how dark or how punk or whatever, they come in and generally people are just the same insecure musicians, and they want to do a good job in the interview, and they're worried about the cameras and everything, and also they're just nice. A lot of times they bring other people with them, and you're just like, they're just normal people. And that was the biggest aha moment for me after the first few interviews, where when I finally started interviewing people I didn't actually know from being in the music scene and playing shows, where I started getting people who I was like, oh, I know who this is. I know who these people are, but they don't know me. And I get them on the show, and to realize, oh, yeah, they're just normal people. It's the biggest thing. Like, that's why from now on, like from that moment on, whenever I met somebody, no matter how big a name they had, no matter how big their following was or whatever, I was just like, I'm looking at them through a different filter of, yeah, you're just like me. I get it. Yeah, and you got lucky. You know, that's the problem, is that a lot of people got very, very lucky and got famous, but aren't necessarily better than other musicians out there. Anyway, sorry to digress.
no, yeah.
That makes sense.
What's your favorite show memory?
Well, it's actually one from Warlando that involves Daniel over there.
How you phrase it?
So,
Are you going to steal his
He's
thing?
gonna steal the story.
so yes, because I was part of it.
He was in the
I
story.
was witnessing that.
Where'd you find this
story,
guy?
Right?
It was with
Ecuador.
Dane. I
Right?
was with
So-
Dane. He bailed me out.
We were done playing, and then it's time to relax and finally like really assimilate what just happened. Opening for Judas Priest, and we're having fun. So we go to this big green room where they have all the catering, the food, and there's drinks and stuff. And so me and Daniel were like, hey, before we eat something, do we want to go outside and smoke a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So
It was like normal in the 70s, right? Smoke.
This video contains material not intended for minors.
Hey,
Go ahead.
hey, it's legal here.
Yeah, it
There's,
is.
there's that.
So you decided to let's go.
So we walk outside of this big tent that they had set up, and we walk outside. We start talking. We start like smoking a little bit. And
We were already smoking.
we were smoking, yeah. So we were
And
smoking
sharing
and
it with
talking
the
a little bit,
community.
yeah.
I
Sharing
remember
it with the
That was one of my last
Wait.
with the security guard.
Wait. You put on that kind of show and you're on pot?
No.
No, this is after
this
we.
is
No.
This is
That's
after
100%
we.
no. I
She's
do
the best
not.
PA ever.
I do not play high or
We do
drunk
not
or
play
intoxicated.
high.
I was gonna say,
The
dude,
thing with it,
how energetic,
I
how hyper are you
do
normally?
everything I do after getting my job done.
That's what we do, yeah.
And the other thing with that is that our songs are not that straightforward to begin with. So
Fair
we,
enough.
we really need to be there.
To be
Yeah.
fair, yes. Oh, anyway, you were saying.
So-
So you step aside. You're
So
you're enjoying
we're
a little
smoking,
bit of
just having a conversation or whatever. And this guy shows up and he's like, "Hey, do you guys wanna vape?
Have a puff.
Have a puff?"
puff pass.
So of course,
But,
he
but
smokes.
who is this guy? Like,
Oh wait, he's getting there.
I didn't know who this guy was at that moment, right? So
Right.
we're, he smokes and he's like, "Good night."
And that's it.
like
Because he
Daniel
he
takes
smokes
one puff.
and he understands.
Oh, he says good night.
This is going to
Like
really.
I'm gone. This is
Because
this is the last you'll see of me.
So it was
This
California
is the
Spring.
last you're
No, I
gonna
felt
see
it
of
right
me
away. I
because
felt
he
exactly
felt
what it was.
away. Yeah.
Right
So
on.
he's like, he looks at me. He's like, "Good night." I'm like, "Oh shit!" Then so I didn't smoke at that point because I was smoking other stuff.
He's your barometer for how
Yes, so-
strong it is.
So we start talking to this guy, and then this guy leaves, and then so we walk back into the tent, and we start eating and stuff, and I see the guy sitting next to the guys from El Nino, and at that moment I realized that this is the percussionist from El Nino.
Oh crap.
So we are eating and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, you know what just happened, right?" So we were smoking with this guy, and he got extremely high, and
Extremely.
it was
You know, because it was funny. It was funny because
Now he limps.
I
dude,
mean,
no, but what was funny is that like me and Dane, we were not there. Like we were actually, watching whatever band was playing at the time, and so like we had seen Daniel before this happened.
yeah.
And then he came back,
He came
and
back
it's
changed.
not enough time. Yeah, like,
You're not the same.
You're not the same.
yeah, dude. Like it's
What's
one of those
wrong
things
with
where
you?
it's
Why are you
this
limping?
is not enough time for you to have consumed that amount of alcohol. Like what just
Yeah,
happened.
no, it was
Like-
night and day.
Oh.
So,
Mixing cannabis and alcohol
Doesn't work.
is
Yeah.
going to it becomes exponential.
the thing is that was a vape that was very concentrated.
Oh yeah, vapes can really
So-
do a number on you from what I understand. I actually don't partake myself. The smell of it makes me sick to my stomach. My wife is allergic, as we've discussed off camera, but I know people and I've seen it, and yeah, the vape is way
Yeah, it is stronger for sure.
concentrated.
So after that, the night actually got better, and we actually had so much fun.
After
We
I-
enjoyed
every
it.
joke we told was funny.
It was amazing. So at the end of the night, we actually ended up eating Taco Bell in the parking lot.
That's what you do.
Yeah, man.
So that was
You
awesome.
can,
That
you
should be
can
Taco
click
Bell's
here
slogan.
and get our sponsor
After
Taco
we
Bell.
found him because he disappeared.
You found it, yeah. You guys.
Where'd you
No,
end
I
up?
found you.
Were you in a bush? What?
I found you. You
He
didn't find
found
me.
us.
No. Like, we called him because
And I answered.
we were leaving, and it's like, where's Daniel? And like,
Oh.
no Daniel.
Interview's going great.
So we called him, and I think he had like, he had gotten an Uber or whatnot, and like he was about to leave by himself, and he was like, no, we'll take you. Like,
And I had
He's a nice
all
guy.
his gear in our rental car.
Oh shit.
So
Yeah, that's the whole other thing when you start mixing intoxicants and
Don't do
when you
that at
start
home.
mixing substances
I mean,
that
do it at
change
home.
your behavior and gear, suddenly you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I gotta get this stuff home or at least put away somewhere safe.
That you do that before you get.
So-
we did pack up.
Ideally, yes.
that is
What
one
can
of
you
the
do?
reasons why I have my assistant that's
Ha!
behind camera
My-
over there.
Also known as
She
your
was the designated driver, my wife, Carol.
yes.
So
I have to also add that when we were watching Soulfly and this was all happening, Dino Cazares was playing guitar for Soulfly.
Uh-huh.
So it was more of a back to the primitive eye for an eye era feel
yeah.
that was happening.
Right.
So that was the atmosphere for me.
You're like, this fits perfectly. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it
Alright.
wasn't like Mark Rizzo shredding. It was
It's funny how certain music fits certain states of inebriation.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
And then I saw him, and then I saw him 15 minutes later, and he was 2 hours later.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
We just travel in time, brother. That's it.
2 hours later.
We just travel in time.
He traveled
That's
in
it.
time.
Turns
Man,
out-
traveled in time.
Turns out, they have invented a time machine. It's called pot. All right, so
Among other things.
now that he's stolen a lot of your story, what's your favorite show
I got
memory?
plenty. I got too many stories.
All right, so build the tea, son.
Well, of course, that's one of my best stories. He stole it.
Yeah.
Another one. I don't know if we can say it. Maybe you shouldn't put this one, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. I think I mentioned earlier that one of my.
This video may contain content not suitable for minors. Go.
I think you
I
should
mentioned
say
you
I
earlier-
want to hear it.
content not suitable. Period.
I think I mentioned you earlier that my first real exposition to heavy metal was Max Caballero.
Okay.
This kid from Argentina handed me out this cassette,
Right.
and I freaking listened to his growling voice, and I get hooked into this.
Sure.
And he became one of my greatest artists among James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine, and all that, right? And then one day he tells me, "Hey, dude, you get ready, cause we might go on tour." Yeah, right, whatever. And
Yeah, this was the first year you guys were
Yeah.
in existence.
And I'm
Which-
just keep on doing learning my shit because it is for me it's still
Right.
still sport for me.
Right.
This is not music. This is sport.
A sport.
Right?
He doesn't mean it's like a game to him. He means it's work.
It takes work. It takes
Have to
time.
translate.
It takes
I gotta stretch.
physical endurance.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. It takes physical
It does. It
endurance.
does.
It is something that you need to put time in. So, well, bottom line, yeah, it's hard.
Riveting. Go
And then
ahead.
he tells me we might be going on tour. Yeah, whatever. And then one day he says, so by the way, we have this date and this day and this day and this date and this date, and we're going on tour with Soulfly. And who's singing with Soulfly? Max Cavalera. I'm like, what? So I'm gonna be in the same stage with Max Cavalera.
Right.
So I'm gonna meet him. So I'm my legs.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Exactly. Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and then you proceed with everything that you need
And then
to
you
do.
look at your hands and be like, oh my god.
No, and on top of that, there's like, hey, we have this many songs for the show, and we want you to do a bass solo. I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious?
Wait, don't bassists live for bass solos?
Hey, I would love to play every bass
They
solo
do
in
in
the
jazz.
world.
Right? Yeah.
But let me tell you, when you want to play in front of your biggest star ever, and
Right. But he doesn't play bass.
he's a musician. And
Fair
one of the
enough,
No,
but
greatest
still.
musicians.
dude, Max Cavalera actually stood in the audience and watched our full set in 2 of our gigs. Like, it was like,
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's always partly terrifying, but also partly
yeah, like,
It is
like, I mean,
terrifying.
because
But
you
it's
know,
also,
you're
like-
on stage and it's like, shit, Max Cavalera is watching this.
But was he
And
smiling?
that is why you rehearse so many hours.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he
you do all
came
this
to
work.
us after the show.
So
and,
let
like,
me
he
let
talked
me
to
let
us.
me interrupt your story. The Daniel I saw at Triple B, was that same energy there at that show?
I got longer hair. Maybe I was.
Yeah, you did. I saw pictures. But what I mean is, were you like that?
It is.
Oh, yeah,
it is. It is
Then
probably.
he would have loved it.
It's probably worse the younger I get.
Worse as in like how
More intense.
as good a musician are you as you are, or you were more of a ham?
Dude, Daniel.
No, it's not about being
Gas
a
us
great.
out.
It's not just about being a great musician. It's about enjoying what you do. Like,
We're getting high on.
Dude,
yeah,
dude,
you're very
Daniel-
gassy, bro.
Daniel is.
What's up with that?
Do interviews in your kitchen.
No, man,
Yeah, I
like,
smell your gas.
Daniel is like Benjamin Button. Like, really, seriously.
Benjamin Button.
Like, I swear to God, like, this guy gets younger every day. It's like he has
Oh,
more energy.
So anyway, so that's your favorite show memory is playing for Max.
Oh, no,
Cavalera?
he's
No.
not
Oh shit. Okay,
This
sorry.
This is the premise.
But wait,
This is
there's
the premise.
more.
There's more.
We just got here. What the hell? We just got here. And then, of course, he's a star. He's not getting along, with everybody else because he's doing his thing, right?
Right.
And that's okay.
Okay.
He's not going to be like, hey, dude, what chord are you playing today? He's got to do his own thing.
Yeah, it's
Sure,
one of
sure,
those
sure,
things,
sure.
like, all of Soulfly was always there, like, backstage, hanging out and everything. And Max only showed up every once in a while.
Because he's Max.
Because he's Max.
He's
like,
done it so many
he's-
times.
Right.
Of course.
he's
Once you
him,
get there, you understand.
Like, you don't...
He's doing Sudoku in the tour bus. Or
Exactly.
Something.
Like, you don't really even expect him to, like, ever show up, and he does show up.
But there is one rule that you don't break
What's
when tour.
What's that?
In the tour bus.
Don't shit in the tour bus.
Thank you.
Never do that.
No.
Never do
You
that.
don't crap in the tour bus. If you do, ooh, you're pariah. You're just persona non grata.
If you do, you're off the tour, man.
Yeah, you're never invited back. Put it that way.
So I don't believe in luck. I believe in synchronicity.
Ah, what are you? The
And-
police? Anyway.
And
go ahead.
listen to me. When I say synchronicity, I had to go to the bathroom.
Número dos.
Right?
Número dos.
And we were in
Or
Portland.
three.
Was it Portland?
1.5.
No. This was
Los Remedios.
Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. We were touring with
At
MADZILLA
the Black
and
Sheep.
Soulfly, the Black Sheep in Colorado Springs. And timing was perfect, and I had to go. And of course, Max Cavalera can't go in a tour bus, and he decided to walk out to do his duty.
Right?
But
And we met.
Like, Daniel's leaving the bathroom as Max is
Not
coming in.
the tour bus bathroom.
No.
Yeah, yeah,
The
actual
the
restroom,
venues.
Okay.
The only bathroom available.
Like, and the
Like-
thing is, like, it's not one of those, like, like it's a big
Like two
restroom.
ships passing in the night.
Yeah, and it's not one like a big bathroom. It's
Okay.
like it's not.
Whatever
it's not
it
one
is,
of
don't
those-
get into details. The bottom line is that
It's this.
yes,
like,
whatever.
small-
Bottom line is like I met my favorite rockstar ever, face to face, and the moment was like, I
Hey.
know what you've done, I know what you're gonna do.
I know where you've been.
I know what you're gonna do. And we were like,
Hey. Fucking hell. So your greatest show memory is...
no, it's not. It's one of them.
Sorry. But when you choose to share on my show is meeting Max Cavalera face to face
Face to face.
out the bathroom.
I mean, how many other rock stars have met face to face
Oh no, I'm not. Believe me.
in a human like experience?
No, believe me. That's everybody has to poop.
That was my human experience next to my rock star.
I should
One of my
add
favorite
though.
rock
So if you ever meet him again, you'd be like, "Hey, remember that time we pooped?"
I'm pretty sure he'll remember you.
No, you remember. You were like,
Max, Max, I highly doubt if you're watching this, but if you are, that's the guy.
I was very
You
respectful.
should also know.
I did not touch you.
You gotta take in consideration the fact that you don't have the healthiest diet on tour.
No,
It's
like
it's one of those things.
oh man, if you're on tour and you have somebody cooking your food for you, they if you have a good one that actually takes care of you dietary wise, they are worth their weight in gold. Like
Yeah.
somebody who's like, no, I'm going to give you more than just chicken wings and quesadillas all the time. It's so important because when you're on tour, you land and you're like, well, what is there to eat around here? Oh, look, there's fast food. God, I am just turning these burners on like crazy, trying to kill my guests. I'll stop leaning against them. How about that?
Yeah, we're fine, guys.
Well, I have that story and among other stories.
Yeah, right.
But that's
All right.
like the closest one with a huge.
As much as I hate this
fan.
phrase, in the interest of time, moving on. Last question. You made it. Good job. Yay. It's time to talk to new musicians. Okay? I used to ask, let's pretend a new musician comes up to you after a show and says, how do I be like you? But instead I'm going to say, what do you wish that current you could tell the you that was first inspired to pick up an instrument? What do you wish someone had told you about the music industry? And don't say change your strings, please.
Yeah, no, probably practice at a slow tempos.
Yeah, that
And
is
build it
so important, especially for me.
Click, slow tempos, and then build it up little by
Yeah.
little.
You have to humble yourself and realize,
Yeah,
I'm not
for sure.
Dave Grohl or Taylor Hawkins or, this guy. You have to start slow and get so bored with being good at that level before you bump it up. I'm learning to be a drummer myself, and the difference between 120 and 130 is
Oh yeah.
phenomenal.
It's,
And I as soon as I hit 130, I'm like, and I got to go back to 120 because I'm not that good.
Yeah.
I try to play.
After 30, that's difficult.
I try to I try to play songs that are like. I'm currently working on Monkey Wrench by Foo Fighters. Back to Foo Fighters, 152 beats per minute, and I'm not there. I'm there with everything but the kick drum. And that 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2. I'm not there, and I'm there here, but it's not translating to the neurons yet.
But if you have it in your mind, eventually you're gonna be able to play it. It's just
a couple
practice.
thousand
And the
years.
sad thing is, if I ever get on an
Slow,
acoustic
slow.
set, it's going to be totally
Just
not
a
the
few
same
couple
as an
of
electric
thousand
set.
years, You'll get it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you've got to start slow. With whatever it is you're doing, you're going to get there if you are consistent. And consistency is key, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
for sure.
Like, yeah, with everything.
The only way.
Yeah.
It's just like this YouTube channel. At least once a week, I have imposter syndrome, and at least once a week I ask myself, why am I bothering? Why am I doing this? Nobody cares. And then I keep doing it anyway. And then I go out and I run into people. I just had this happen. Humble brag. Somebody said, hey, you're the guy. You're the guy that does the local music stuff. Didn't say Room 6, didn't say my name, didn't know me from Adam. I didn't know them. But they said, oh, you're the guy. Because they knew me because of the person I was there to review.
Yeah.
And the person I was there to review had talked about me. And it matters. It all matters. Every show matters. Every rehearsal matters. Every scale you practice matters if you keep doing it. If you sit there and practice once a week, every other week,
Nothing's gonna happen.
you're just going to keep doing the same thing. It's like we talked about with rehearsals.
Yeah.
If you're just there to learn your part at rehearsals, you know, and you have to do it. You don't have to do it 8 hours a day, like some people. You don't have to be locked in the attic and beaten with a stick by your band, but it matters. I'm sorry to take over your point.
No, yeah,
But yeah, so you're saying
that's
They get beat. They get
that's
beat.
exactly what I was
They get beat.
you know,
He gets his haircut by while he's playing.
Yeah.
And when it grows back out, he's done.
It's as a way of punishment. Whenever he fucks up.
Turns out he has a giant fro and just never gets to grow back out.
I shake it harder.
That's
All
why
right.
he's so good.
Anybody else? Your advice to your younger you?
I have one.
Okay.
And I think this is one of the biggest things that no one ever told me, and then I found out the hard way. And I think, like, you know, if you're an aspiring musician and if you want to start a band and, you know, get out there and do things, save money. Like,
Yes.
this industry is killer. It will eat you alive and spit out your bones.
All that gear we talked about, it costs money.
And
Lots of money.
Yeah. And then it's all like touring is not cheap.
Oh.
You know, and like
Yeah, no. I mean, unless you are already Judas Priest, unless you're already that level where they're saying we're gonna pay you to go on tour.
Exactly, but you're not gonna get there unless you tour before you do it. You know, like it's like you never get to the spot you want to be without making sacrifices along the way. And every sacrifice you make costs money. You know, like you wanna shoot a cool music video, that costs money. You wanna record at a good recording studio, that costs, like, everything in this industry. Like, I mean, you start off thinking like, okay, rock and roll, yeah, all I'm gonna do is, you know, just play and then drink beer and all that stuff, and it's like yes, there's some of that, but there's also you gotta think of the logistics, and no one ever does that, and it's.
You know what? Going back to that, but also the consistency thing. The legends you think of, Rolling Stones, AC/DC, the Beatles, they just never stopped. But the reason they were able to do it is because they had the money to do it, and they never stopped.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the money to do it, we'll keep doing it until, you know. But the day job is not your enemy. The day job is a means to an end.
Yeah.
I practice on my day job.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. It's like, I mean, sometimes you see your day job as like, oh my god, this is stopping me from doing what I want to do. Like it's like it's on the way of, and it's not. It's the way to get there.
Yeah.
I'm very
You know what
lucky
I-
that my boss was one of my very first subscribers on this channel. Thank you, Zach. And also, he's well aware that when the time allows, there are times where I have written and you know, scripts for videos and things like that, or you know, I've been like, oh, sounds cool. How about the 26th or whatever? You know, I've certainly done my room 6 business at work, but that's because if you're going to do a job, you got to be there for 8 hours anyway. You might as well be great at it, and I'm great at my job.
Yeah.
But I'm great at my job because I know it allows me to do this. I'm great at my job because it allows me to pay bills and also, I don't know, go to shows, you know, buy a drink at the venue so the venue is happy with the band that plays.
Yep.
It's all a very symbiotic relationship. If you go to see a band, buy a goddamn drink. If you don't drink alcohol, buy a Coke. Buy something to eat if they have food. Support the venue because without the venues, the bands have nowhere to play except house parties. House parties don't make bands a lot of money, but also house parties are cool and all, but they're not T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah.
They're not on tour with Judas Priest, you know? And if you want to support a local, even if you're like, well, I can't afford to buy their shirt, their merch, or be a patron, you can show up and afford a Coke. You can show up and afford a plate of fries. You can show up and, I don't know, be in the crowd and be like, yeah!
That's the best way.
Yeah. We were talking off camera about a band that's it's actually my longest interview so far, I think, to date. Crimson Riot. Roxy Gunn, the lead singer of Crimson Riot, is always the front of the crowd, whatever show they're at. She's always there, just be like, I am so happy to be here right now. I'm done with my job. I played, I rocked, I kicked ass. And then she's right there, kicking ass and having a good time and showing support for whoever's playing, whether it's, you know, her brother that's in a band, or maybe she just knows them. And that inspired me, because I'm sitting there like, I got my camera and I'm getting content for my channel. And I was like, you know, I can also put this down and go stand at the front of the stage, or at least in the crowd, and show the band that I am actually here to enjoy them. Which is one of the best parts about my channel, is that I get to get content and then put it down and enjoy the show and headbang like a fool to this guy. Honestly, dude, you were my favorite part of that whole night.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Like James jumping off the stage 7 times to go play bass in the crowd was second to you. Sorry, sorry, James.
Wow, James, it was my first, by the way.
All right, so you've talked to your younger self, and you've talked to your younger self, gentlemen.
To my younger self?
What do you wish someone had told you before you started playing music?
Don't
Do jujitsu.
don't think about whoever's better than you are. Don't freak out. Don't freak out about whoever is the greatest. Don't freak out of things that you can't accomplish today. Just do it. Work. And the sound is not from your equipment. It's not from your gear. It's not from your bass. Maybe 50%, maybe 20%.
Right there.
But the rest comes from your fingers, from the amount of energy, from your feeling. You know, when you're vibrating, when you're in a room and everything emits sounds. He's boom, boom, and he's ah.
How's that go?
Did you hear it? I know you heard it. Boom, ah. Where do you go? Ooh, ooh. Right?
Which
you
one am I?
learn when you're in a room. When you're in a frequency, when you're in a room, you learn how to dive into frequencies. He's very gassy.
Lo siento. Soy güero. Lo siento.
It's basically that. Learn your frequencies. Learn how to vibe. Get your band together and start making noises and feel.
Yep.
Feel the sound. Feel the wave. How it hits you. Don't waste only your time on like being the best at notes. It's about how can you contribute to the ambient.
To the overall sound of the band.
Yes.
And I think that he's making a really good point, and I'd like to add that sometimes, you know, you're at home by yourself and like, you know, you create this like awesome effect patch, you know, like you play by yourself and it sounds killer.
And that's the worst mistake you can do ever in your life.
And then you bring that into the rehearsal studio or to a show and it sounds horrible. It sounds why? It sounds amazing by yourself, but like you got to think about when you play with the band, like what are you bringing into the band? It's not when you think about it like
Exactly.
I am the guy. Like then you screw up. You already screwed up.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's a whole fist of content.
Whoa.
Yes. It's like the band is supposed to be a unity. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna punch somebody in the face if you have 5 fingers.
You're gonna have your moments to shine.
There you go.
But remember that it's a band. It's a group. If you want to be a solo act, go be a solo act.
Yeah.
It's fine. But just remember, if you're in a band with a band name, a band sound,
you're in a band.
You got all these ingredients to knock somebody out.
I was afraid you were going to say,
Dude,
fist
it's like putting too much salt on a dish. You know, like
salt.
Yeah, exactly. Like salt tastes great if it's the right amount. You know, and it's like it adds to the overall flavor. You know, it's the exact same thing. Like, you know, too much of something.
How did this become a cooking channel? Anyway. All right, so that's your advice to younger you.
Dude, the sound is in your fingers and in your ears. You feel it. You learn how to feel. Get in the room, feel. Get the frequencies. Learn how to feel your sounds.
Before we get to Dane, what you said basically
Everything
about how
else you can buy.
you can have like, oh, this sounds amazing, and then you get to do it with the band or a show, and you're like, this sounds like shit. Someone who's no longer with us, unfortunately, Lacey Ferguson, sound engineer extraordinaire. She was very underappreciated in her time, and really made, like, she constantly got compliments from bands saying how, like, we've never sounded so good on stage and out in the audience. I remember once I had a sound. It was my sound. It was the sound of the Suspense. And she heard it. It was like, your tone sounds like shit. And it really made me sit there and go like, wait, okay, I had to think about it. Like, how does the audience hear it? And she was right. She was totally right. Like, I wasn't paying attention to my tone as a guitarist. I was always a rhythm guitarist. I was always the frontman singing.
It's not about you.
I know.
Yeah, it was made
It's
for you. 'cause-
about
Let me explain something. Let me explain something.
project.
It's my channel. It's not
It is about me.
So, Dane,
Yes.
advice to younger you, what would it be?
So I think anything dealing with music or arts is to do what you like to do and not really worry about what the audience as a whole enjoys, because there's going to be people that love what you do, there's going to be people that hate what you do or don't like it or whatever, and I think that it's important to understand that everyone's different and everybody's going to approach it in a different way. So just to focus, don't like try not to like change like what it is you do based on a reaction from a population of people.
Gotcha, from a particular audience in a particular show or whatever.
Because
Or like what you're told that you're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean?
right, so because if you do what you like doing, it's only going to be like enjoyable from a certain group, and it's important that you do what you like instead of what everyone else likes, because it's not going to be real.
Yeah, because if you're not having fun on stage, the audience will know.
Right.
I always love a band that looks like they're having fun on stage, and especially when they have those little in jokes or whatever, or somebody messes up and only the band knows, and you all look at each other like, haha, oops, we had a hiccup or whatever. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for watching. We're pretty much done. I think we're gonna have a music video, right?
Yes. Please stay tuned because what's coming next is the title song of our new album, Asphyxiating Cries. It's played live at the Warlando festival that we were talking about earlier, where we opened for Judas Priest. We were lucky enough to be able to record the audio from the console that day. And we brought a bunch of cameras, and so like we filmed it from different angles, and we had like, you know, our assistant here like do the front shot and like move around.
Right.
So, you know, the master editor here put all the shots from all the 6 cameras together.
Nice.
And we have the audio that we got from the console that day, and it's, you know...
Awesome. I look forward to checking it out as well. Thanks for doing all the exposition for me. I appreciate that. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I guess we'll see you next time. And guys, thank you very much for coming on the show. And we'll see you next time on Room 6. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Hey, ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Bang.
There's always one.
Someone was gonna do it.
So here we are at Warlando, ready for sound check.
Thank you, Warlando! We're MADZILLA from Las Vegas! You can follow us on social media at MADZILLA LV. This next song, titled song from the new album. This is called Asphyxiating Cries. Thank you, Warlando! Thank you so much. We're MADZILLA from Las Vegas. Come to see us at the merch table later. We'd love to say hi and meet you all. This will be our last song. This one's called Destined is High.